Robert here again. It's my birthday. I'm
Can we can
37.
we can we sing happy birthday?
Go right ahead.
Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Robert. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Yay. Nobody saw that because it's building, but I
Yep.
already sang. It's
hey, hey,
screaming
they'll see this in
behind.
the past. They'll see this in the past. When
Yeah,
they.
it's not like the show Money Heist where people who sing die within two
Yep. Yep.
episodes.
And besides, hasn't that gone? Hasn't that become public domain now? I think. Happy
I
birthday.
I don't know. I was worried that that's why I changed the tune a little bit because as I said, "Oh wait, this is one of those songs you're not allowed to sing." Should we retweet the stream or something like that? I maybe people think we're starting at 7:30.
I already tweeted out saying we started
Okay,
our. Yep.
awesome.
I've already put a comment in my original tweet saying
Oh, in the
change of
original tweet.
plans. Yep. Change of plan.
Okay.
We're starting early, and I
Okay.
know Fandom Collective will be putting a comment out there for saying, "Hey, check out this live stream."
Okay, I will retweet this and say actually starting now.
Yep, no problem. Cause yeah, seeing your plans change, and we're starting just half an hour early. But
All
yeah,
right.
though it is. Boy, this past year,
This
this been
past month,
this
man.
past month, losing Bob Saget. All right, already.
Oh, I know.
That was a blow.
He was
Losing
such
Norm
a
was one
nice
thing.
dude. Okay,
Losing.
Norm Macdonald is actually a super nice guy, but he had a really hard edge.
Well,
Bob
yeah,
Saget was just a really nice guy, and I in and out of stand up comedy. To say someone in stand up comedy is just a nice guy,
mm-hmm.
that is rare and the highest of compliments. So I think
Yeah.
everybody's really. I was in denial.
Yeah,
I
oh, I
admit.
know. It just happened so suddenly that it might have been a heart attack, I think.
Yeah, or a stroke or something like that. But when you first mentioned that last night, it was like
Hmm.
I was in shock. I was not willing to accept that that was real. And then I kept waiting for, oh no, false report, everything like
Oh,
that. And it
yeah.
wasn't a false report, and oh, it
And
hurt. It just
TMZ
hurt
has
so
been the
much.
one revealing these lately. I mean, they did with Betty White. Oh, God. Get Betty White. Very next day after her death, I took my brother to see Sing 2. Wasn't that bad, actually. But
No,
they had on it the Phantom event for her 100th birthday. And I was like, oh! Everyone was here were like, oh,
I
oh!
mean, okay, Betty White was 99,
Yeah.
right?
She
We
lived,
all I
yeah.
think we all wanted her to make it to 100.
You had magazines saying it. You had magazines already preemptively celebrating.
And I admit I was sort of like, maybe we shouldn't do this because she's not going to choose to die when she dies. Well, I mean, Betty
Yep.
White might. But
Right.
but you know, somebody dying at 99 and somebody dying at 65, they're different.
Yeah.
99 is a tragedy for the world. It's like when Stan Lee went. I
Oh
knew that one
yeah.
was gonna friggin' hurt like hell, even though he was in
Oh
his
yeah.
90s. But Bob Saget,
Yeah.
65 is young now.
Yeah.
You
Oh yeah.
know,
Definitely. And you have George Perez is on his way out. Oh God. That. Even though he's still alive right now, that's still like the fact that his parents are still alive.
another utterly lovely man.
Oh
Like,
yeah. The sweetest
just
man. And I never. I was a broken mess. I cried the whole day. That's how much it hit me because it dawned on me how much important he was for me.
I I don't think that's totally sunk in for me yet. I
I
admit.
agree.
Um,
I don't want to focus too much. I'm already starting to well up
right.
just thinking about it
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
that one of my first comics was Christ on Infinite Earth. That
Oh,
should tell
geez.
you. That should tell you for me. I mean, that wasn't my very first. That was some issues of World Without Superman, that event.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of my first
His
traits that I got. Yeah.
I mean, it's very rare. Well, okay. I won't say it's very rare, but it's a real thing when a reboot of a character becomes sort of the definitive
Oh yeah.
version for people. And his reboot of, his retread of the Wonder Woman origin
Hmm.
is now the one that people cite. And
With some elements from the New 52. Let's be honest.
I still struggle with
Elements.
the new
Elements.
I
That's what I
still
said.
struggle with the new 52. I just so struggle. I so struggle. The
Yep.
new
Oh, by the way, I'm gonna have
52.
a friend of mine is gonna be joining us as well. I send out links to others, so it's not just gonna be the two of us.
Yeah, it's
So just, but
yeah.
yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I mean, besides, I know it's post crisis had a lot of that, a lot of definitive origins and handlings of characters.
Well, because I mean, let's face it, you do sort of have to not totally there's a difference between redoing an origin to modernize it and
Hmm.
completely changing the fundamentals of a character. And I think
Superman changed the fundamentals.
Superman did change the fundamentals at one point.
Batman was year one, and Wonder Woman. The whole Trinity
Yeah.
changed each other post crisis. They are very different characters from their crisis selves.
Well, okay, if you go back to the original Marston comics, I mean,
Well, yeah.
talk about comics are political. There was such a clear, not maybe not political, but philosophical agenda.
Oh yeah, believe
what is
women could
going on
do
in the
no
comics.
wrong, and they just need men need women to show them the way. That's why when Morrison
Because
did Earth One,
loving submission.
yep, and
Loving submission.
that was something I
Yeah.
realized about Morrison's Earth One trilogy. The whole point of it was to show a fully realized, Marsden's vision, even though it had to show how absurd it was.
Yes.
It went right to the absurdity of it, but I think that was the point. I don't think he
Yeah.
was trying to go for any.
No.
Yes, he did put in some web type of speak, a very MRA type speak into it, but I think because he didn't know what else to put in, he probably felt like, well, I don't know what these type of people would think. Hold on a second. Here comes one of my friends. His name's Raymond. Hey, Ray.
Hello, Raymond.
Yep. Like everyone, Raymond, and many of you know him. He's been on before. He was on my last stream of the year.
Yay.
Yep.
Oh, we can hear Raymond now. Okay, that's good.
Yep.
Oh, okay. You couldn't hear me? Oh,
yes.
hold on.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
you were a bit quiet before, so now we can hear you good.
Apologies.
Yep. No problem. But yeah, we were just talking a little bit about the post-crisis DC stuff. Like with Wonder Woman, their origins there. I just went over with Raymond and another mutual friend, Bianca. Yep, I was teaching them all about the different post-crisis origins. Man of Steel, Birthright, Secret Origins, and Earth One.
It's funny, my husband and I had a discussion last night about all the things that John Byrne gets credit for when he was just collecting it from previous creators and putting it all in one spot.
True, but Man of Steel is his own, though. Let's be honest.
The tone and sort of the look of it, I think he deserves credit for, but he gets a little.
Oh, the Lex stuff was from Marv Wolfman, not from him.
Yes, it was. Yeah, and a lot of people miscredit that. Marv Wolfman gets not enough love.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sure why.
I don't know either. And George gets more love than he does.
Okay, George is.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I wasn't saying that.
I'm just saying George never backed away from things the way Marv did. They're both very, very nice people, very different people. But I mean, George is such a showman at cons that he's so gregarious and so warm that I kind of get that. Marv's a little.
Well, he was. I think he's gotten a bit more open in his later years.
He's kind of. I think. Yes, he was always lovely to me. But yeah, no, I mean, there are reasons George Perez is so beloved. He has a very, very giving spirit.
Oh, geez. Seeing some old con images from him, like him holding a Supergirl in his arms doing the Lafayette, like, or having a guy holding him up in that pose and everything.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing. He's a guy who legitimately, in everything he does, at least in public, exudes an absolute love for the characters in the medium. And I hope that that's something that he's inspired, and that's something that some people will carry forward. I mean, the other guy who did it, also gone too soon, but really did it in his own way, was Darwin Cook.
Oh yes. Oh god,
Darwin, he
Cook was.
utterly loved those characters. He
I
loved
agree.
them.
And the sad thing
And
about was Cook, he was like, it was just a few days before his passing. He was going to come to Motor City Comic Con, canceled at the last second, and then he died a few days into it. It was like everyone's like, oh, like,
Darwin was really singular. I mean, good Canadian boy, right? But
hmm
he
he had a vision for the characters that very few have had.
and the interesting thing is when I talked to him, he never considered himself an artist. He said to me, "I'm not an artist. I'm a craftsman."
Exact, a storyteller, basically. Yeah,
No, a craftsman. He
yeah.
doesn't. He said he didn't create any of these things. He took them and adapted them and refined them and, distilled them to their essence. And he didn't see that as the same thing. And I think that humility was what allowed him to reimagine a lot of things. I
New
mean,
Frontier.
New Frontier was talk about
Yeah.
political. I mean, and there's a thing where I think there's a difference between thematic, topical, and political. And I think New Frontier, because of the whole thing with Kennedy,
hmm
one could argue that's political. Another could argue that that was thematic or like a historical examination. The same
Yeah.
way Watchmen kind of fills that space with Vietnam
But
and the
Watchmen was a bit
Navy.
more heavy on the politics compared to.
Watchmen took massive swings about U.S. foreign policy. That's what
Yeah.
I find so strange about comics. Shouldn't be political. The books I mean,
Yeah.
okay,
I mean,
that
New
ended up
Frontier did too. New Frontier
yeah,
did too. Especially
yeah.
that point was Wonder Woman. She was ready to speak out, and everybody's like, put a medal on her, and like, shut up, bitch.
Well, I mean, comics historically have been one of the most heavily censored mediums
Yes.
out there
And
because of
that's
the
why now
Comics
they're
Code
finally
Authority.
breaching out. Now that they're finally actually being more and more progressive, bringing other characters, people don't like it. They don't. Oh, hey, Hominus. I did say hey.
Yeah,
You're
hi,
right.
Ominous.
Oh, yeah, I
Yep.
didn't say hi. Yeah,
Yeah.
ominous.
No, I mean the Comics Code Authority was actively and heavily censoring comics for
Oh yeah.
decades. So for people
Yeah.
to say that comics have never had politics, censorship is political,
Exactly. I mean,
right?
why to say that Archie was one of the people who got the Comics Code going, and yet what happens as soon as the Comics Code is gone? They do Afterlife with Archie. They do everything they can to be like, screw you, Comics Code. And it's
Okay,
like,
yeah,
you
I'm,
guys
I'm
didn't
not.
realize. You guys didn't realize how much the Comics Code strangled you, didn't you? Did you?
Well, I mean, I think it was interesting that it was just sort of a time where I think Marvel was the first one that was like, we're not going to do this anymore.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They did it in the 2000s. I
Yeah, and
think.
then DC was like, well, if you're not going to do it, we're not going to do it, and that was
Well,
sort of the end of the Comics Code. But yeah, I
Archie held
mean,
on to it.
you look at the 10-cent plague and all those Senate hearings. I mean, comics were heavily politicized by the political establishment.
Exactly. I mean,
So
yeah.
to say comics aren't political, comics shouldn't be political, is to not know comics history. Now, we can argue about, and this is a discussion I'd love to have that we aren't having because everything always descends into a shit show on this topic.
Right.
But
Well, not here. I assure you, it won't descend to
yeah,
a
I don't
shit
know.
show here.
I'd like to open it up to you guys. This idea that, and this was actually, this is not my idea. This
hmm
comes from a game dev I interviewed who left AAA to start his own indie studio. And what he said is that themes should, art should come at issues from the realm of art, from the perspective of art, not from the realm of the way a politician would handle it or the way a journalist would handle it or the way an academic should handle it. You can deal with difficult topics, you can deal with polarizing topics, but you
hmm
should do it from the position of art. His name was Vander Caballero. Um,
hmm
um, but you should come at it as an artist in the realm of art, not
Oh
as
yeah.
an academic or not as a politician or not as a journalist, because
Yes.
all those
Yes.
perspectives matter. And I think that's a nuanced view that we can
It is.
actually examine and have everything not go to shit. And
Oh, and I
I'd
think there's
love to
some.
move into that.
I think there are some creators who have always the earlier creators, people like Jeff Johns, Joshua Williamson, Jeremy Adams. If you want to go by recent creators, I mean, they're ones who, if they do politics, it's for the story. It's for this. They're not trying to do. I mean, some might slip it in because they can't help themselves, but for the most part, you couldn't tell compared to other creators who, like Tom Taylor, who make it so like hitting you with a hammer that's like, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I do know what you're saying. I mean, I look back to the comics I liked when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna commit a horrible sin and say I was a Marvel girl before I was a
Hey, that's
DC
fine.
girl.
Hey, Hey, believe it or
But
not, while Superman was my earliest comics, I also still grew up on the Spider-Man cartoon and the X-Men cartoon.
my love of comics is both from the public library, but also, this is really funny, the outhouse at my grandmother's cottage. This is a true freaking story, man. My older cousins, they were like, I think 16 and 15 apiece. They'd put Spider-Man comics in the outhouse at my grandmother's cottage, and it was one of those Spider-Man gets a cold comics. And my dad didn't like comics. He thought they rotted your brain, and so I had to sneak them
Oh
on.
no,
Like,
not that
I need to go to the bathroom, and I'm sitting there reading comics. But it was the Spider-Man gets a cold, and I'd never seen
Oh yeah,
dating
I
a
know that.
superhero before. But what somebody could argue that is a socio-political statement, the idea that Spider-Man is a young guy with a job, or now a high school student, but that the fact that they're an everyman instead of millionaire Bruce Wayne, right?
Yeah.
They could argue that's political. I say it's topical.
Yep.
To me, it's not the same thing, right? They're not saying this is good or bad. They're just saying, well, nobody's ever done this before. I mean, you could argue Superman was the embodiment of the New Deal.
Yeah.
Right? But is that political? Is that making a statement about the New Deal? Or is it two kids with an immigrant experience and a Jewish background just telling stories they gave a shit about? And I don't think it's fair to slap the label of politics on a book just because it's topical.
Exactly. Now, again, I think it depends on how they tell the topicalness of it. And now, granted, something like Action Comics #1, the very first issue, it's hitting you over the head with that, but you don't know it nowadays because you had stuff like, the second story where he's dealing with that lobbyist. What does he do? Takes him and threatens the guy's life.
Okay, have you guys seen the website superdickery.com?
Yep.
Nope.
Okay, all those those World War II era things where he's like smacking Hitler, or Superman says slap
holding the cup of water of Aquaman.
But it's also like Superman says slap a slur for Japanese people, and it's like a Japanese character. That was political propaganda.
Yep,
like, straight up. Check it out, Raven. If it's still up, superdickery.com. It's all the examples of Superman being an absolute dick over the years. It's a great.
Yeah, people. There's bad dickery, and there's super dickery.
But when you look at X-Men being inspired by the civil rights movement of the 1960s, right?
I'm gonna know Stan likes to always claim. He later has said, not initially, of course, but it's because if that's what it is, that's what it's become. And then Claremont eventually did. Yeah,
right? It was in the water. It was just in the environment, the same way the Twilight Saga is informed by the fact that Stephanie Myers is a Mormon, even though she didn't go, I'm going to write a book that's Mormon.
Yeah, now that's the thing, though. Once you hear that, then you're like, oh my God, it makes so much sense. But you don't think about it until you hear that.
Yeah, I mean, I did an entire lecture at a historical conference to Mormons about why the Twilight Saga is Mormon, and they went in not persuaded at the end. It's like, why doesn't she talk about this more? Well, because the creators don't necessarily know. I know some of the things that I put in my work. I don't intend for it to be political. And I mean, I do a lot of satire because you've seen my stuff. I mean, it's some deep cuts at times, but to me, that's not political. To me, that is topical.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yep, you're seeing them.
I'm going on a rabbit hole journey here.
I'm sorry, Raven, but you're welcome. Like, it's so great.
But hey, you want to know one comment the past few years that's one of my you want to know one comic of the past years that's one of my favorites, even though you have certain people saying, oh, it's political, oh, it's this. Superman smashes the Klan.
Yeah.
I
And
love
so
it.
what? So
Yeah,
what,
I love it
right?
because it's like, you guys remember what happened back then? Yeah, I mean,
Okay, there were also comics where like Wonder Woman put on a hijab and beat up the Taliban. Like
that was in Superman and Wonder Woman Earth 1 Volume 2.
yeah. I mean, and I remember at the time it was somewhat controversial. People, I mean, let's face it, the Wonder Woman costume and the whole fight over the length of her skirt is in many ways the
Or if she had a
politicization of
skirt, if she even had a skirt.
right. If she even had a skirt or it was pants or shit, like this is all
Or
politicization of
a
depictions
bathing
of women.
suit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, how did a lot of us survive the 70s where Wonder Woman was both in her underwear, but also oddly evocative of everybody's closeted lesbian aunt? And
Funny
we
thing.
still managed to get through and our brains weren't tainted.
Funny thing. When I was doing that video with Raymond Bianca brought up a very good point when we saw Lois in Man of Steel, saying, hey, Lois is wearing pants. There are some people who would flip their shit over her wearing pants and not a skirt. I'm like,
see,
what?
I don't agree with Wonder Woman wearing pants because that's her subscribing to the modesty norm.
No, but we're talking. No, I said Lois. I said Lois.
Yeah, no, Lois.
Right.
But I mean, the whole thing about them putting Wonder Woman in pants for the
that JMS run
for children, right?
Oh, yeah. But I'll say that JMS run, I didn't mind that because it was a radically different and it fit the rest of her look.
Oh, was that the white? Like she was in that white suit.
No. That was in the 70s. That was in the 70s. Yeah. I'm talking about right before Flashpoint when JMS came on. Everyone forgot about who Wonder Woman was, and she's wearing this biker jacket and everything.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Those are always variations on the theme, and I don't mind them kind of drifting away a bit because we know they're going to come back. Right. But just you know, watching Greg Rucka, as much as I love the guy, like going after Frank Cho for art that, you know.
Yeah, well, at least it helped.
Frank didn't create the costume. He was being anatomically correct. It was based on the movie costume. It was just happened to be the pose. And, you know, as somebody with a somewhat ample posterior, skirts do ride up. And
exactly. And
when you've got pros fighting pros, when they could have the discussion in private, that's when I start going, no, that's where I start agreeing that you shouldn't, you guys know each other. Take it off list, right? Like take it out of public. Don't do that because anybody who sees that are like dad and dad are fighting, right?
Exactly. It's like hold on a second. It's like what's his name? Goran Parlov, the guy who did that Spider Woman, you know, with the heels image. And boy, did that blow up. You know, the one where she's saying why high heels are good. And, you know, it makes climbing walls easier and all that.
Oh, I remember the one, the was it Surge something?
Oh, I know. That guy. I know that cover. Yeah, Frank Cho then took that cover and ran with it.
Like that was an example of something. I don't know about you guys. I didn't think the anatomy was very good. I really didn't understand the shitstorm around it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. Period. End of story.
Exactly.
Raymond, am I off base on this?
Raymond?
Sorry. I had it on mute because there was a damn dog outside.
Right. You know, that's an example of something I didn't personally like. So
the Spider Woman bent over. The Spider Woman bent over cover that caused an outrage shitstorm. You remember that one, right, Raymond?
What? I'm sorry. I'm still laughing at Super Dickery over here.
Okay, so anytime Raymond's distracted tonight, it's my fault.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm getting an image of the cover. Hold on.
Yeah, like this is where I think that certain people should just really practice what they preach, because if they want everybody to be able to like stuff and not like stuff, they shouldn't flip out when something offends them.
Right. Hold on a sec. I'm trying to find a good image that's not one of the parodies.
Actually, I don't. Okay. I completely agree with Liana on that. No one should flip out if it. You know why people get
found it. Hold on.
Oh.
Milo Manara.
That's right, Manara. That's his name.
Hold on.
I'm confusing him with another artist, Stepan something.
Oh, yeah. Stefan and Jake Sajik.
Yes. Yes.
The guy
yes.
who did Harleen and all those. But yeah, hold on. Here's the image.
There it is. There it is. And I mean, yes, her neck is broken and a bunch of things are really not right there. But
Yeah, her lower half looks like a heart.
right, which okay. I mean, we're clearly designed to invoke Pac-Man, and her butt's going baka 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 baka. But I mean, that's how um, that's how I relate to stuff like this. That is just ridiculous,
Right, but
right?
did you know about the Gordon Parlov one?
Have you got it?
Yep. Hold on a second. This image.
Mhm. Oh, that's the.
That caused a controversy shitstorm too.
See, I actually like the way that character's drawn.
Oh yeah, it's nothing sexualized.
Well, also,
I mean, yeah,
okay,
I like
let's
Commodus's
face it.
comment.
This is clearly digging.
Right, yep.
This is clearly parody art. Like you look at the art style, it is clearly not intended to be serious.
Exactly. He's making fun about the high heels, and he's
That's
coming
right.
up with a reason to why it would work.
That's right. And it's clearly in jest, and people should. Yeah, okay.
And he's got a point, though. He's got a point when you look at it. It makes it easier.
That is some cake right there. Oh, there we go, Robert. We have your birthday cake right here.
Cheesecake. And I'm not a fan of cheesecake.
I mean that is some cake right there.
Right.
But again, I'm making jokes about it. I'm not going, oh, that's offensive.
Yeah, look at that one, though. Her butt stuck to the ceiling.
Hasn't every woman had this problem?
Well, yeah, but we see about it, though. If she has wall-sticking abilities, why can't that happen? Why is it always...
Did I tell you the story about when we interviewed Stan Lee and we asked him if Spider-Man can do everything a spider can, why don't the webs come out of his butt?
What did he say?
He said, we thought about that, but determined it would be unseemly. Classic Stan.
Exactly. It's just like in Mallrats, Does Ben have or does Mr. Reed stretch? What is he? Well, we could have talked about that because of the comics code,
He was so good at nudge winking, but staying above it.
Exactly.
But I mean,
there's not going to be another man like him. There is not.
See, and that's the thing when you meet the old Silver Age guys, I shouldn't say that, classic Silver Age guys.
Oh yeah,
the guys who were making.
Is Liana frozen?
Am I frozen?
No, you're not. You're not frozen.
Uh-oh.
Okay,
no, you're not. You're not frozen. You're not frozen.
But yeah, it's like when you meet some of these creators, when you meet a lot of creators and you talk to them, you recognize they're not trying to upset anybody. They're not trying to make a grand political point. They're just trying to write stuff they like. And it so upsets them when things become this thing. My challenge to everyone in comics is if you want things to be less political, please make things less political. Please do not attack other people because they have different opinions from yours. Because
like last night.
Well, yeah, or it's been going on for what 2-3 years now.
Yeah,
I don't know. When did EVS take over Comicsgate?
And I mean, I haven't personally had an unpleasant word with Ethan, so it's one of those things where and let's face it, like even before that there were real aspersions cast against creators who were just making things that they liked, didn't want to hurt anybody, may not have totally understood how certain things would be received from certain portions of the readership, but they weren't doing anything to hurt anybody and they weren't doing anything evil. And as somebody who does create stuff and as somebody who's a big fan of a lot of these artists that are deeply maligned on one side or another, like, can we just stop? They're actually all just people who want to make people happy.
Exactly. And now I will say this, I had a train of thought. Hold on. Jeez, lost it. I'll try and regain it. Well, I'll try and regain it, but oh wait, yeah. But one thing that bothers me now, I remember. One thing that bothers me when you have some of the people like Jerry Conway and all stuff, where they're showing their innermost political side, really just not even letting it go. Then you're always wondering, was this always there? And you never felt free to talk about it.
Okay, we gotta let people have those moments though, because I mean, let's face it,
True.
Steve Ditko was freaking brilliant, and he
Mm-hmm.
went full blown objectivist and created Mr. A.
Right.
Were it not for Mr. A, we would not have Watchmen.
True.
So there's an example of somebody who just
Or
went,
the
I'm not,
question.
or I didn't like, well, the question, Mr. A. I mean,
Yeah.
Rorschach was the question. No, he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't. He was Steve Ditko's Mr. A. But I'm a huge fan of Steve Ditko, and
Mm-hmm.
dude had some issues. That doesn't mean he wasn't a brilliant artist that like
Oh
innovated
yeah.
comics, right?
But it's the ones, when you have the whole some of these creators, that some of the old creators that people love, that you could sit down and talk to, now feels so, I'm gonna shit on people who opinions I don't agree with, and it just feels like they are unabated, uninhibited. I mean, uninhibited.
I think it's beyond uninhibited. I think that when people get dumped on for
Mm-hmm.
long enough, it becomes part of their identity. And when you
Yeah.
ostracize someone to a particular extent and people are willing to throw money at them for behaving like a vaguely psychotic, spoiled brat, well, that's a pretty easy way to make a living considering nobody can stand you anyway.
Exactly. But like I said, Jerry Conway, he's been like a fan beloved, like a great guy, great comics, but now it feels like, oh, he has these political viewpoints. Now he wants to grab back control of Punisher, a character he never cared for in the first place, who he's always made the joke of saying, I just created him so I could bring in the real villain. And Punisher was meant to be a one-off. Tells you how dismissive he was of the character, but now, it's been used by people on politics he doesn't agree with. I gotta make a stand and take him back. It's like, dude, stop it. You never cared for the character in the first place.
See, it's interesting to me. This is going to sound like kind of a weird tangent, but hear me out.
Go ahead.
Have you read V for Vendetta, the comic?
Long ago.
Okay. Have you seen V for Vendetta, the movie?
Again, long ago with
okay.
it. Yeah.
They are polar. They are polar opposites.
Yep. Oh, I'm aware of that. I am very much aware of that.
Are completely opposite of each
completely
other.
Different ending and everything.
Well,
really,
complete opposite in that the V for Vendetta comic is this idealistic, romantic. V is an idealist. He's an artist. He's going to change the world with symbolism. Right. So he blows up the Old Bailey. It's an act of destruction inspired by Guy Fawkes and the suffragettes and all this stuff we romanticize. But Alan Moore showed that once you release a metaphor like that to the public, you don't get to control what the public does with it. It doesn't become a unifying thing because everybody has their own interpretation of what that big boom meant. Right.
Yeah.
And it descended into anarchy, and V was sort of despondent, and it was very, and of course in the movie they have everybody marching in lockstep with the Guy Fawkes masks before Anonymous was even a thing, and I was watching it going,
oh God, did you see that? Oh, did you see that one comic that was talking about, Anonymous, and how they act like, oh, where'd you get that? Oh, it's from V for Vendetta. It's like,
not knowing that it's a Guy Fawkes mask.
Yeah, but this was said in the comic. This person put it in the comic.
Right.
Seriously, as if they really think that's a fact, and there are people on Twitter saying, you're an idiot.
But, okay, here's the question here.
Yeah.
Alan Moore was basically predicting, though he was commenting on what was going on at the time in terms of politicized art. Right.
Oh yeah.
That's symbols, what symbols do and what happens to symbols. And the fact that Hollywood took it and turned it into the complete opposite of authorial intent, I think that's very poignant when we look at what's going on now, because Alan Moore was warning us with Watchmen, with V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
I think even with Lost Girls, which I loved, but I swear to God, he only wrote it because it would never be made into a movie. But,
well, no way in hell, because it's porn pretty much.
Oh, absolutely. No, it is porn. It's not pretty much. It's porn.
You don't say.
Which it can't be made into a movie.
That's not the type of movie you would put in theaters for the general public.
Well, it's a massive buzzkill at the end, and there's a twist ending, and I was like, this is why I love Alan Moore, and this is why it's so hard for me to explain why I love Alan Moore. Even his porn is smart, you know.
Hey, look at Miracle Man, which I can't wait for that omnibus. They're finally collecting everything.
And I mean, a swamp thing is a menstruation metaphor, and I'm like, what? But of course it is, you know. But I mean, this is a guy who got so fed up because he's an artist, and everybody sort of makes fun of Alan Moore, including other.
But the funny thing though, he gives all these big rants, but it's because people are asking him these questions. Quit asking him these questions, because like, what are you expecting him to say? Would you expect him to change his mind on everything?
But why do we want people who are clearly so passionate about ideas to shut up when it's not fictionalized?
Oh, that's true.
Like, why do we have so much trouble disagreeing with certain ideas that come from the creators we enjoy? That is my question. Because I mean, I used to work in music in the 90s and 2000s, and every band I loved turned out to be an absolute asshole, collectively and separately. And the pop acts that came through were always super nice, and I found myself enjoying pop music more as a result. But it got to the point where if a band came through that I really liked, they're like, do you want to meet him, say hi? I'm like, no, I don't want my dream to die. But you know, the Smashing Pumpkins were horrible assholes, and it took me a long time to go back to listen.
Oh wow.
Okay, that was right before they broke up, but they were such.
Yeah. Who knows if you even met them? Who knows what would have even met them earlier?
Possibly, but then flip side, you know, when I finally met Rob Liefeld after.
He's a great guy.
After being one of those snooty people who made fun of his art for years, he's this really nice guy, and I felt super bad.
Exactly. It's like, it's the reason why, and here's what I keep on bringing up when it comes to people like those in Comicsgate. They want to be like that asshole who infamously went up to Rob Liefeld, gave him a copy of How to Draw the Marvel Way, and said, maybe you should read it. And in his mental mind, he saw everyone, like the whole world was clapping for him. He's like, and yet everyone else is like, dude, you're an asshole. Get the fuck out of here.
And that's something I think is sort of missing. And I go back to the V for Vendetta versus.
Okay, see you, Chris.
See you, Christopher.
Bye, Chris.
The V for Vendetta comic versus V for Vendetta the movie. In that comics is the medium of V for Vendetta the comic, and yet everybody gets so fixated on adaptations, whether something becomes a movie or something becomes a TV show.
And how one for one it is. The fact that they're doing it now so they can have something to bitch and moan about now when it hasn't been an issue before.
I just don't understand why, and this is an honest question, and maybe somebody in the chat can explain it to me. I've asked this before on Twitch and stuff like that. I admit I have a block with this because I am a redhead, and we are being erased from media.
Oh, the redhead
ginger. Like, I tell people, like, okay, Black Widow had red hair for some of the movies, but Scarlett Johansson's not a ginger. You know, why do I care?
Kirsten Dunst, natural blonde, had to dye, and then in the flip verse, I love it how Bryce Dallas Howard, redhead, had to dye her hair blonde.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm sitting here going,
There was Emma Stone.
Yeah, I've just detached, right? I've gone sort of. I like the comics, and this started with. It started with X-Men 2.
Oh, yep, I remember. Yep.
Lady Deathstrike. Also with Mystique. I mean, I love Mystique in the comics. I love Lady Deathstrike in the comics. And Bryan Singer.
At least in the first movie, she had one line. At least she had one awesome line. Like, you know, it's good that people like.
That's not Mystique. That's not Mystique.
Oh no, you're right. It's not Mystique. You're right. That one line.
So I started going, okay, the movie Mystique is not my Mystique. Why does it have to be? You know,
that's true.
I'm a Keaton Batman fan. I'm both a George Reeves and Chris Reeves Superman fan, though I love what's his name? Tyler Hoechner on.
Oh yeah, Superman and Lois.
On Superman and Lois. But like, I don't have to like the Dean Cain Superman. I don't have to like.
No, Dean Cain, great Clark Kent. I do not like his Superman. Yeah, Superman just never. It felt like they hired him for Clark. That's what they hired him for.
I like Amy Adams. I don't like her Lois Lane. right?
Oh no! Oh no! Diane Delaney. I cannot think of anyone who's ever still been the most perfect voice or acting wise for Lois.
See, I think Noelle Neal is probably still
Oh
the
yeah.
perfect Lois Lane. Margot Kidder, for what that movie was, made absolute sense as
Oh yeah.
as
Especially
that Lois.
the romance. The romance. They had such perfect chemistry.
Yeah.
That's why they were. That's why they made it clear. If the romance didn't work, the story didn't work. That's why they hired her. Then everything they screwed over Donner, and she was one of those who's like, "I'm gonna make a big stink about it."
Yeah, but I mean, Poison Ivy has
have
never...
you been reading Superman 78?
No, and I've been told
Read it because
my
feels like
husband's telling me I should read it. Yeah.
Do you mind if I give you one major spoiler?
He may already have, so go ahead.
Jor-El and Laura are alive.
Yes, he did tell me that.
I'm like,
yeah.
That would have been, if that was the third movie. That's what the third movie. Granted, they would have had to bring a big dump truck of money for Brando, but that would have been perfect to give more stuff. I mean, granted, that's the advantage of it being a comic. There was no way in hell you could have done a movie with it and keep Brando in it the whole time. But
I keep getting burned by what's going on in modern comics, and I made a decision a while back that I am going to keep the love for the things I love, and if I find continuing to consume something is taking away the love for the things I love, I stop reading it. And I mean, I got burned on the Super Sons. That book, there you go. That book brought me.
Have you read this?
I have not. I've heard about it.
Oh, it is incredible. It is so.
Look at you with the perfect fan out. Like, look at that. That's skills.
Yes,
do that again. I'm in. Look at that. That's perfect. Nice. That's perfect fan out. Like, that's awesome.
How many are left for Last Ronin?
There's 4 of them. So there's 4 of them. There's 1 more left.
Good. And how long is the wait for this next one?
Not in just a few more weeks.
Oh wow! So they're actually it's finally going to happen.
Can I show you a comic that I feel gets no love? But it's one of my treasured favorites.
Superman Godfall.
Yep, Michael Turner plotted it and did the cover work. He didn't draw it.
Right.
And
that's going back a ways.
Yep.
Yeah,
I got Turner literally a year before he died.
Wow,
well, that's such a classic Turner face right there, huh?
Well, except that's not Turner actually. That's the artist Talon Caldwell.
Oh, that's evocative though.
Oh yeah, very much so. I think that's why he was tapped, because he was one of the Aspen artists.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. Hold on. Let me give a good example of.
Someone in the chat has a question.
What about? Oh yeah. Can I cut you off about Poison Ivy?
Finish your thought. I just wanted to let him know.
Yeah, I just want to show you the image. I just want to show you a great image. Right here.
Who is that?
Her name is Lila. Basically, the whole point of Godfall, it's a retelling of Return to Krypton, except it's not really Krypton.
That's right.
And Lila was the name of it, but in this case, she's not. She's an alien from this was back in Alien Kandor, not Kryptonian Kandor. You remember Alien Kandor?
I mean, they keep mucking around with Daxamites and this.
No, but yeah, except in this case, it was just some other person gather them all up, put them in one big city. That she was one of those, and now, of course, notice she's wearing underwear.
Yeah. I mean, part of my problem with comics now is I have lived through so many reboots and retcons. Mm-hmm. I cannot keep it's Crisis on Infinite Earths in my head right now. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what origin story is current, what isn't, what's been retconned. So I just go based on whether I find the characterizations of a character accurate, as opposed to getting really, really obsessed in the details. And that's, the thing about Poison Ivy. I really haven't felt like Poison Ivy has been effectively adapted in live action ever.
I agree with that completely.
She is one of my favorite damn characters.
Now, what version would you want? Would you want her to be the complete and utter eco-terrorist? Would you want her to be more just the anti-villain, anti-hero kind of, the person you would want to see Harley with? Or would you...
Yes, I do like Ivy and Harley. I do think it makes sense. But the thing I like about Poison Ivy is her villain status is directly connected to the fact that she is a card-carrying misandrist. She hates men. And that is interesting to me. I think that that's a part of if you take
she'll use men like tissue paper
for her ends, but that's because she legitimately hates men. And that is a headspace that is interesting to visit.
Does that make her a lesbian? No.
Don't want to live there. Not necessarily. I think she probably is a lesbian as well, but loving women does not mean you hate men, and vice versa, right? But you know, she is a villain, and so it's interesting that they would just when she's properly written, she does have sort of this hatred that blinds her, and that's where she makes mistakes in a lot of her plans because she's so damn angry. And you know, you
sorry. While we're talking, I just noticed Shane is just giving Tristan more shit in her comment section on her community post. I can't. He won't leave her alone. He won't leave her alone.
Yeah, but everybody's seeing that, right? So
yeah, but it just feels like, dude, shut up.
Well, talk about punching down. Like, I'm sorry, I'm going to comment on this.
Because here's what he said. I think I made $239K before this debate was mentioned. So obviously, I don't need you to sell. To which he even said, that's never what I said. Quit being dishonest. Now, because they need an enemy to sell books, it's like, yeah, like you got those super chats because of me. You got super chats as well. Okay. Nowhere near as many as he got, and I was in her chat the whole time.
I'm gonna say something just like a point of let's have a reality check here. This is a guy who's famous for the Red Lanterns.
And Superman Earth 1, let's not forget that.
Yeah, but he's kind of in character, being powered by rage. I think maybe just I'm gonna keep liking Atrocitus's cat. What's his name? Daxstar.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep liking Daxstar. I'm not.
His backstory is so tragic.
I'm not gonna worry about whether Daxstar was touched in a bad place as a kitten. You know.
We know he wasn't. That was Bleed.
I'm just joking. But right. Like, okay, this guy whose most popular major work is about people powered by rage. Acting sort of.
Got a bot. Hold on, I gotta deal with a bot. You keep talking.
But let's leave it alone because that whole thing was really ugly. And one thing I've learned being at the receiving end of some of this by, other things like this is continuing to comment on it and fanning the flames only makes it worse for the person who's the target. We support Tristan. We love Tristan. Tristan did nothing wrong. What they're saying about Tristan is not true. Tristan is a person who just loves comics and wants to be able to have an opinion about comics. Period. End of story. I am not going to demonize Shane Davis or Ian Van Sciver or anybody like that. They're allowed their views. I would like them to just please speak their views, attack ideas, not people, and stop making it about dollars because, this is
she was saying that as sarcasm. She was saying it as sarcasm anyway.
It doesn't matter why she said it. He's a pro.
Oh, yeah.
And he has a much bigger audience than her. This is punching down.
Yep, and Shane and I had talked about this off screen before. It's ridiculous with Shane when you take into account that he's the of all the Earth 1 books that have reached a trilogy status. He's the only one who hasn't completed it.
Doesn't matter.
No, I know. I'm just pointing out though that type of. Yeah. I'm just pointing out about the type of mindset he had. They felt like I don't care to finish it, and so you had future disgraced artist Artie and Sayaf drawing it in his place, and now people are going to always associate the books not with Shane's work, but more with Artie and.
Don't necessarily predict the future because there was a time where people thought that Dave Sim was only going to be associated with Crazy. Dave's a lovely guy, and people discover Cerberus. They don't know anything about that period with the Comics Journal.
True.
They just love Cerberus for Cerberus. That's it. Leave it alone. Creators are allowed to be flawed people, right? And I want to be abundantly clear. I'm going to continue to like the Red Lantern stuff.
I agree. I'm one of those as well. I separate art from artists.
Yeah, we can't complain about the fight and continue the fight. and people feel very strongly about things. I think people have the absolute right to believe that the 90s spec market was the time they discovered comics, and no matter what anybody says about the books that were produced then, those are the books they love. That's the art style they like. They would like that to continue. And if they want to pay for it, and if people want to produce books of that style that are evocative of that, let them do it. Just please leave other people alone that want something different. You know,
Exactly.
If you love, what is it, Mockingbird #8? Like there's an example of, that asked me about my feminist agenda cover.
Yeah.
I bought the shirt of that because I thought it was hysterical. I thought it was just so dumb that I bought it ironically. And now I'm afraid to wear the shirt.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
But it's funny because I have a Pac-Man shirt that says "Eat Me," that I'm also. So I like cheeky t-shirts. Like there's so many shirts now that I can't wear. I have a D20 dice shirt that they're on 20s and they say they're natural. I won't wear that shirt. I have so many shirts that are just sort of cheeky, and in the the Riot Girl era of that's what feminism was when Katana and Melina were feminist icons and Lara Croft was a feminist icon and not, a scourge against women. That's how we projected ourselves. That's how we showed our we were allowed to be aggressive. Right? And that's sort of where I came up. That's my understanding. I was always a power girl, not a super girl. I always sort of liked the more aggressive women. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman in that. I admit it's
the strong woman, the strong woman era of feminism, not and that's just putting us down because men came up with it. Feminist.
But there's another one. Catwoman's not strong. Catwoman's batshit crazy.
Oh yeah, she's broken. She is broken.
Yeah, she's broken.
Now there's a brief moment. She has a moment where she could have gotten better, but she throws away for revenge.
But she also chooses not to get better. And I thought that was an interesting statement. But
I love that moment to dance. I love that moment to dance where they both realize it. And that's the moment where she could have. Even though then she's like, Bruce, I would, I don't know. You just see
I would love to live in a house with a white picket fence with you. I just couldn't live it myself.
That's when they were underwater. That was when they were in the, but I'm talking about before. And just that bit where she's all, I don't know what I want. It's just like Michelle nailed insanity in that moment. She nailed a woman who's on the brink of a breakdown, who doesn't know what she wants now that she's actually realized something about, the man she loves.
Yeah. And I mean, that was a good adaptation. Like, let's face it, Tim Burton's take on the Penguin with Danny DeVito wove back into the comics.
In many ways, in other ways,
I mean, Tim Burton is a lot of style. He's got to watch the substance. It's not always there. But, crossover media, adapted media can inform the comic books. I think there's a really good interplay with adapted medium and comic books. I just don't think the industry is using comic books as the development farm that they should be.
Or if they do, they go off the rails like Riverdale, anyone?
I just think they're a little bit too worried about sales as opposed to just don't lose money. Please make the next Wolverine. And I know I say this all the time, but I just don't, the comic floppy market has a place.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like, I know this is really cheesy and kind of weebo to say we should look to Japan about some things, about how to do creative properties.
Some things,
It's not perfect, but the fact that they are just constantly generating IP. They are constantly.
Definitely. Now, are some of them hits? No. Have we heard of most of them? Hardly.
But,
they are doing it.
Trying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They keep taking swings and.
Swing and a miss, home run.
I don't like the burnout on the Attack on Titan animators and things like that. There are issues, but.
Hang on. Ray Raymond, where do you stand in all of this that we're talking about?
I'm sorry, I lost track a while ago.
Are you still looking at Super Dickery?
I kind of am, yes.
Oh, dude, okay. Close it out, dude. Close it out or I'll boot you out.
Oh, my fault.
I'm sorry. I got stuck on this one where Superman asked Wonder Woman why she has to block bullets if she's bulletproof.
I'll bring out my creepy Superman pogo stick to bring Raymond back.
Oh, that's what that is? It's a pogo stick?
It's a pogo stick.
Oh, God.
Terrifying. It's the litomite Superman, man. Like, he's the partially formed man. He's like, see, it's a pogo stick.
Yeah, that is.
So if anybody asks if I'd like to use Superman as a pogo stick, you know,
I don't know why anyone would ask.
Look at this death mask, man.
Oh,
God, that's terrifying.
That gives Michael a run for his money.
Yeah, but this was merchandise when the first Chris Reeves movie came out.
Oh,
77. Yeah,
that's old.
Yeah.
Okay, that then looks like that. Looks a little George Reeves like.
It does. That's the funny thing. But I mean, it was one of those things where there's no.
Actually, no. You know what he looks like? He looks like, you remember that old Superman peanut butter commercial? He looks like that animation.
Oh, jeez.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Doesn't he look like that? The animation you saw in that, where you look at his face.
I think they were going vaguely the Fleischer Brothers cartoons, but nobody's skin is this color.
No.
Like, this is the color you see at a funeral, man. This is when the formaldehyde has kicked in.
Definitely. Well, hey, Raymond, did that bring you back to reality?
I have more horrors, Raymond, if we need to suck you back in.
That is the frightening thing I've seen all day.
Isn't it awful?
Yes.
I keep it because it's terrifying.
Right. I forgot. I've seen it all the time I've had you on. I've been seeing it in the background. I'm just like, what is that? What is that? You've told me.
It's the same way I have like Fisto and Ram Man back.
Yep.
It's Fisto and Ram Man. I got to.
I'll be honest. I thought it was a punching bag at first.
I thought so too.
It's a pogo stick. I love the horrifying shit, right? Like I've got
your ET, your ET.
Well, ET's kind of terrifying. Like the fact that this was like
yeah,
that's
ET
suitable
is
for children,
terrifying.
right? Yeah, ET's like a penis that loves you. You know?
Hey, there's a reason why. Okay. Either of you two ever? Okay, if either of you two ever, you know what the AVGN? Did either of you ever see his movie?
What?
The angry video game nerd movie.
No, I did not.
No, I did not.
Well, there's a point in there where he has a nightmare with ET. It is a horror movie, ET. Like, it smashes right through the window. It's his long neck with a very monstrous-looking version of the face. It's like, kind of a look.
Ever since I was a kid, I have loved, my mother calls them the ugly things. If something looked fucked up, like if it was E.T. or Alf, or like I've got MODOK back there, and I've got a Cthulhu over there. Like if it was weird looking, Mumra from Thundercats, like Skeletor, if it was fucked up, I loved it. You know, the Illithids from D&D, you know, if it looked weird, I was there for it. I have no idea why. I've been like that to this day. If it's fucked up, I'm there. I mean, I've got a life-size Yoda and a Jabba the Hutt scale model too. If it's ugly and possibly slimy, I'm just there. Or like any sort of monster, like Beast from X-Men or Juggernaut's cool looking, but Juggernaut's so Kirby shaped, right? Like, I don't know why. I can't explain it. It's the same way some people just love things that are kawaii.
Oh, I
love
agree.
ugly shit.
I have no argument with that. I have no argument whatsoever. Do you, Ray?
No, I like things that are edgy.
Yeah, your little Cthulhu thing over there on the couch and your chair.
Oh yeah, but it's funny. I had a meeting that was really super corporate. It was a Zoom meeting earlier today, and I was looking at my backdrop, and I'm like, it was a hide the porn moment. Like I pulled the Cthulhu, I pulled the Slimer. It was a first impression meeting, and I'm like.
You forgot it was there, right?
I'm look at that. That's intimidating, man. Like I don't want to scare the straights. I don't want to freak the mundane. So at the last moment, I was like, yoink, and just threw it on the floor, did the meeting, put him back, and that's why I think he's looking kind of grumpy. It's like you are embarrassed of me. I will swallow your soul.
I will swallow your soul.
I will swallow your soul. That's Evil Dead.
Leon, if you like Cthulhu, have you ever heard of the game Cthulhu Saves the World or Cthulhu Saves Christmas?
Yes.
Great games, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, anything Cthulhu,
Hey, everyone loves Cthulhu.
I was a goth in high school, and so
Oh, really? I
someone
couldn't tell.
I was a goth. I was a goth and a grunge in high school. And somebody was revving their freaking motor down there.
I think that was on Raymond's side. Yeah.
Apologies, someone's driving their engine.
Someone got really, really excited by Cthulhu. Maybe it's the tentacles. You know? Cthulhu, constant who face. But yeah, I was a goth in high school and grunge in high school, so it's like I hate like that says a lot. But someone brought out the Necronomicon and sort of introduced me to the whole Aleister Crowley thing, and I became an ironic goth at that point because I could not take it seriously.
Right.
I'm like, completely fuck off, man. Anybody believe this? And
I can relate.
I just thought it was because the grunge kicked in, right? The irony and the fuck everything, the Gen X apathy. And I thought it was so hilarious that it was sort of for life. I love this stuff, not because I actually believe it, but the fact that I really think that Crowley's mystique was that he allowed the people of sort of the upper societies of certain places to act out and claim it was the occult or spiritualism, but they just wanted to have kinky sex. I mean, let's face it.
Let's face it.
There were all these permission structures back then to do kinky shit and say it wasn't kinky shit.
It was kinky shit.
It was kinky shit. It was just kinky shit, and they had all these names for it. But
okay.
Like goth, yeah.
You have my curiosity, now you have my attention.
Okay, anybody who saw Lady Bits episode, what was it, 10?
Yeah.
With the purple streak and the purple and black corset should have known I have a goth streak. But yeah, it part of it was just clothes that fit. Back in the era of everything being like spaghetti strap and that horrible beige color. People forget that beige era of the 90s. It was bad.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But, yeah, it was just, I mean, I like the black and red lipstick and all that stuff. And I mean, it's funny because you know, you can pass for normie, but the goth never totally goes out of you. And you know, we did Depeche Mode dance numbers at school assemblies. Yes, I just admitted that in public. Oh,
it's
wow.
all right.
It's your birthday. It's your birthday, Robert. It's extra. It's extra this time. This is just me making Robert laugh. This
I don't mind. I love it. I love it. It's just but yeah. Again, it just feels, but just getting back to it, just how this whole past year have been. Just feel like this was the year that pushed me over the edge with all the insanity, you know, of the two sides. Beforehand, I thought I could just sit down and ignore everything, and I did for the longest time. I'm like, you guys think what you want, you're not bothering me. But now that's gotten to the point where all of their building up, their preemptive hatred of stuff is starting to pay off. Is starting to come to fruition. Like He-Man Revelation took that whole year, and I'm just like. Once it came out, and I'm being told I'm not a real fan and everything, it just, you know, that's what broke me. Where I'm like,
you want to hear the last laugh though?
Yeah.
The shot of the cost of like the market for classic He-Man figures has like shot right up because of the thanks to He-Man Revelations. So I'm digging in my extras bin and selling He-Man toys right now and making a fair bit of money. So last laugh on us, like it just the awareness of the whole brand for all the controversy and all the, you know, discussions. you know what? Ultimately, it shows people care. Some people just can't hear healthy. But I hear you. I mean, when you're in the middle of that, I find that very interesting, and my heart goes out to you that this is the moment that you just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, and that's when I started calling them out more. Beforehand, I kept it to myself. I might do a few videos once in a blue moon where I'm like, guys, settle down. But after that, I'm like, fuck all you! Fuck all of you guys! You guys have become what you hated, and you can't see it because you're so wrapped up in your black-pilledness that you cannot let it go, that you have to gatekeep because you feel you have to, and your definition of it is everyone that's on our side, no one else.
See, that was me in 95. 2005 and again in 2012. So you got a few cycles.
Right.
Robert. You got a few cycles before you get as bitter and cynical as me.
Yeah. Yeah, but this was like, but the fourth part is, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I predicted all this. So a few years ago, I predicted this. Right at the peak of War Campaign, I predicted we were going to get to the point where people are going to enjoy being the cynical, trolling everything, where they're not going to care about good books no matter what comes out. All of this stuff, I predicted it, and it just eats away at me every day that I'm seeing it come to fruition worse and worse. To the point where I've mentioned this to you off screen, but with Jean Gentry getting dumped on because she made a good point saying how Vida Ayala made a very poorly worded tweet, but she doesn't have any power over who gets hired or not. And her tweet was simply saying, guys, here's the ones I prefer doing it. She at one point made a dumb comment, yeah, but for the most part it's been, guys, people out there, you all should hire. Now, if someone that's white gets hired, is she going to bitch a fit? Maybe. I think she'll just keep her mouth shut and just be like well, so much for that. But everyone's saying like, oh, she's doing this. And even Jean is like, guys, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what she did at all. Oh, they're saying that she did this. That's what she's doing. She's like, shut up, guys.
Yeah, you're not gonna budge Jean.
Oh, I know. Despite that Jean, but I appreciate that Jean is, but her eyes are opening up a little bit after this incident. She started to realize how bad the community has gotten because it reached to this point for her to be all like, to get this much backlash like that.
And Jean's a lovely person. There's no reason for
that. I butted head with her a few times. I mean, I thought that way. Then I thought she embraced too much on the SJW side, but I think she's now. Yeah.
Jean and I disagree on a lot, but she's good people. Like, love to Jean. You see, Robert, in 10 years, you will be here. Where it's like, everything is stupid. I love everyone.
Maybe not, but
unless you come at me, then you get the fucking creepy pogo stick.
Right. But I'll say this though. I will make this clear though. I am never going to back a Shane Davis book again after last night. Not after last night. Wait, what are you?
Never. I won't say never.
After that, maybe never say never, but not any of the books when they're $25 for a 48-page book. No, thank you.
Okay, you know what? Let's compliment people we disagree with.
Right.
Some people just sit there and take pot shots or do individual streams. They don't come on. They don't. Have somebody with their own fan base. And, we were all going, WTF. We were being critical. At least, for whatever possible thing, he at least talked to another human being instead of just doing a hell dump stream.
That is true.
I don't like a lot of the things he did. And I was baffled by some of the things he said. But credit where credit's due. I think he does care in his own way.
I will not deny that. It's clear a lot of this comes from passion, but I think it's a misguided passion. Like the moment he was telling Rocky and Tristan that they were tricked into getting that Asia anthology book and that anything they're basically like, and they're like, no, we got it because we were interested. It had good creators we liked and we wanted to see what it was about. Like, nope, that's not what happened. That's where I'm like, okay, shut up.
For me, it was more the argument that a logo has an inherent sexuality. That's where I was like,
yeah, what?
I must admit that I was dipping in and out of that debate.
It was weird. It was the Superman shield and people being invested in it and the John Kent. I'm not. That was probably not what he intended to say. I was just at that point.
The talk show we're talking about a debate that happened last night was Tristan and Comics Boom against Shane Davis and his wife, and it started off decent before it kept going on and on for too long. And then it became, once they got enough super chat mask off and decided we don't give a care what you're talking about.
Yeah, there was an interesting debate on my YouTube channel about the idea that if somebody gives you money to read the comment, some people believe you're obligated to read the comment.
No, you're not.
I disagree. I think that if you because I said in my video from today that because I like, what would I do if I got a super chat that I thought was just an insult and I didn't feel comfortable reading it?
Oh yeah,
And
I would have just been like, "Thank you for the super chat." I'm not gonna read that, unfortunately, but
well,
thank
I'd
you.
read if there was anything in it that was useful. I'd read that and not
Oh yeah,
the mean part, right? I'd try to make a silk purse out
I
of
wouldn't
his
show.
hat
I
anyway.
wouldn't show it on the screen. Even I would just. Oh, that was the other thing. When he kept on having this one comment that was stuck up there the whole time, saying like "WTF." Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
That's sort of the thing about the whole super chats thing. It can encourage bad behavior, and we saw an example of that. It's also a way for streamers to monetize with your most passionate fan base. It's one of these things on the internet that we're figuring out, and I do think that sometimes the thing that confuses me, and I'm interested in what you guys think about this. My big
Mm-hmm.
conflict is me joking and making lewd comments about a Superman pogo stick aside. And
Right.
like you've noticed, I got the Spectre back there. I'm big on the whole Wrath thing too. But that's a Plastic Man who I love. I'm all over the place. But we
While you're doing it, I'll be right back.
wait, Robert.
No, I'm here. I got headphones on.
Okay.
I got the headphones
Like,
on.
what's going on? Why'd you go? Don't leave.
He's grabbing another comic.
Yay! Okay.
You mentioned, and hey, look.
It's elastic.
Why are you fondling Plastic Man's belt, Rob? It's your birthday.
It's a rubber band. It's a rubber band.
I won't judge. If you want to get in Plastic Man's belt and wear it as a hat, I'm good, man. Love is love.
Oh, don't eat.
Okay, one of my favorite comic titles of all time is "The Plastic Man is Big Barda's Dress." So,
Oh!
freaking love that.
Wait, wasn't that in Gail Simone's mini? I think.
I don't remember who wrote that. I don't remember that. No, it was Morrison's run, wasn't it?
Oh.
Maybe it wasn't. I don't remember. Maybe it was Jeff Jones' run. It all blurs. It all blurs.
I'm looking. Hold on. I think I.
Here's what I'm interested in your guys' opinions and chat.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it was jail lay number 33. I see the image now, but I'm trying to find out who wrote that. I'm looking at that. But continue on while I look.
Okay, we all worship superheroes, which are people that do the right thing even when it's hard.
Mark Waid did that issue.
Mark Waid. Okay, apologies to Mark Waid. Good on him.
Yeah, that was Mark Waid who did that bit.
Someone who doesn't talk to me anymore, who thinks for whatever reason I'm evil now. But again, love his stuff, can separate it. But we claim to worship these heroes and we claim to emulate them, and we claim that we're inspired by them and we love them. So why do so few in the community take the opportunity to act like our heroes when we get an opportunity? Why does everybody become thug number 26 when we get an opportunity to do better? I don't. That is the thing that I look back. And video games doesn't have the same conflict, because in video games, you can be Grand Theft Auto and just be a complete asshole, and there's no conflict there.
Yeah, the only time it ever was an issue was stuff like a part of the game that you should never have seen in the first place, if you know what I mean.
Coffee mod, yeah, but
yeah.
There are games where the whole point is to be an asshole. You have the opportunity, but comics.
How many? We'll get to that. We'll get to your theory in a moment.
Yeah, but this ties in. I'm interested, but why do people not?
You meant this?
Yes.
Yes, I love it. Like, it was sent up to my room. I just assumed one of you arranged sees his logo. And all that.
Don't show it, but you just imagine.
I know it. Hold her.
You're like, oh my god, so good.
I know, it's like, why you?
So good, just so good, and he kind of looks like a dick there. Not gonna lie,
he does.
makes it even better.
I got a friend of mine. A friend of mine's coming in. Ingrid's her name. She's a friend of mine.
Okay, maybe Ingrid can chime in too. But what do you guys think? Why do people do this? Why do people claim to?
Hey, Ingrid.
Love.
Hello.
Hello. Claim to love these comics and then not act like they're heroes. Discuss. I'm really curious.
Another bot just entered the arena.
Sorry for to bring you in at that moment, Ingrid.
Hi, Ingrid.
Oh, it's okay.
Could you repeat the question one more time, Liana?
Basically, sort of, maybe this ties into Hominis's thing about insults in Super Chat, and I'm really interested on his theory too. Maybe it ties in. If I get no answer on this, nobody has an answer, we'll move on to Hominis's thing. But people claim to love comics so much, they are willing to fight on the internet about it passionately and kind of, meanly for like 2 straight years. But they don't act even with the internal moral code of someone like the Punisher, right? Why is that? Where is the disconnect? Why does it seem to be this big?
Here's what I think. I got an answer for that. I think because these characters, they like the characters as much as a person likes having their toys. I think it's more of that. They don't like a lot of these people when they say they're big fans. They're big fans of having the collection, of having like I said, they love the idea of the character, like reading the adventures of the character, but there's a disconnect. They're not there like that they relate to the characters. They might think they do, but deep down, they don't. Or if they do, they don't share the viewpoint. They like to see it there, but again, it's a disconnect. They don't relate. Or like me, I do feel like I relate to Superman. I do feel like I understand, and Superman is one of those things I follow my beliefs on. You know what I mean? Always giving someone a chance. But if they, go after a friend of mine, or if they spit in my face, okay, like, can't tell me I didn't try. Things like that. That's my belief. What about you, Raymond?
Honestly, I just think they're incredibly fragile. They just can't handle anything that goes against their worldviews.
So it's all just lashing out, complete emotional knee jerk.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. From what I've seen so far, it's just an emotional knee jerk on their part.
Interesting.
Ingrid, I know you just jumped onto this, but do you have an answer?
It's really interesting that a lot of these types are really interested in talking about empathy and like being able to see things from a lot of different perspectives. And yet when they actually are in the seat to actually write something, the only perspective that they can really bring out to the world is the life that they have personally lived. And it shows pretty badly when you sort of have stuff like this that happens where it's just like, maybe you're not necessarily as imaginative or as able to see around different perspectives as much as you think.
Interesting. So
that's
a bit of
just my 2
Dunning-Kruger.
cents.
Bit of Dunning-Kruger. By the way, Ingrid, you have a fantastic speaking voice.
Oh, thank you
like
very much. I have a lot of fun doing this kind of thing.
Captivated.
I
I'm
really
just
like
Hey, you should check out my movie reviews with our Godzilla. She and I did our full Godzilla retrospective. We're still working on it. We're almost done. But we've watched every Godzilla movie. Everyone. Yeah. And we saw all the Mothra movies. And we've always seen all the... And get this. You know what ended up being... The funny thing, the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy had one of the worst kaiju movies we've ever seen, but also one of the best kaiju movies we've ever seen. And it was to the point where, when we showed the video, Ingrid curses at the beginning of it, right, Ingrid?
Yep.
For the second movie, Rebirth of Mothra 2, it is so bad. It's like right off the bat, we were ready to give it a 4 right in the first few minutes, but then towards the end, it just circled the drain more and more. But then, Rebirth of Mothra 3, one of the best kaiju movies we've ever seen. Like, how do you go from one of the worst to one of the best?
This may be my super dickery. Rebirth of Mothra 2.
What?
I may go down the rabbit hole here looking this up.
Oh God!
You won't get much of it just looking into it.
Mothra just cracks me up.
No, what'll crack you up is the Furby with healing pee.
Yes. I was trying to.
I forgot that was a thing.
Hey, I just realized we never brought that up during our review, did we?
No, I don't think we did. There was so much else in that movie that just flew completely under the radar.
But the funny thing, though, is it is down below. It's the funny thing, though, it is down below with most of the movies that we rate down lower because that were made up mostly of stock footage. It is the only one of the kaiju movies we have to have all original footage that's as low as the stock footage movies. But
Gamera
still
Super Monster.
nowhere near as bad as Gamera Super Monster. That is the worst movie we've ever seen during all of our reviews.
Really?
Oh,
Mhm.
about 90% of it is stock footage.
What's it called? Gamera Super
The-
Monster?
Yes.
Don't
And you
watch
should,
Someone to
it.
tell a series.
but just look up the Gamera Super Monster, the Gamera suit.
Gamera. I'm spelling it wrong. Okay.
Just look up the suit. You're gonna be
Oh,
like,
it's the space turtle. Yes, I know this guy.
yeah, but look at that suit though. It is the worst it's ever.
The space women in it?
Oh, with the space
Yeah,
women,
the
yeah.
space
Oh, yeah.
women- the
Which
space
they were
women
the
took it
only
over
thing.
at
They were the
end.
only thing that was good in the movie, but even they were.
The kaiju
didn't
was
do anything.
something someone would make in like pottery class in the 6th grade.
Exactly. And now, to be fair, I don't blame the people who made the movie. It turns out there was a union. Like basically the people who worked on the staff and everything. When the theater originally closed down, they burned a lot of things down, and unfortunately, the Gamera suit went with it. So they had.
Aww.
Yep. Hold on.
Yes! Oh my god, look at that. That is so dirt.
It looks like a
And at the
toy.
end, they kill Gamera up by having him plow into a Star Destroyer.
That's why there are Star Destroyers in,
Yeah,
the,
there's a
in
Star
the Google
Destroyer in
search.
this movie.
So they just totally ripped off Star Wars.
And Spaceballs.
Oh man, so good.
When did this movie come out? Like 1980, right?
80, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Good God. But yeah, Ingrid, seriously, when she and I saw this, we were mortified. And we fast forward. No, we didn't fast forward. We went for 1.5, and even that didn't save it. And worst of all, it had up until this point, we were saying most of the kid actors in the Gamera movies, some were cringy, but none of them were as bad as the one from the first movie, who was insufferable. Yeah, this one had a kid worse than that kid.
That's just awesome. Okay, so let's talk about Hominus's thing about insults, because
Hominus. So why don't you tell us?
I have never understood, for people who just showed up because we got a new wave of people.
Hi, Bianca.
Yeah, hey Bianca. Hey Bianca, I take it she's probably leaving work. When you get home, just hop on in.
Bianca, we love you. But I don't understand. I have never understood this. I think that being a dick, including Super Dickery, people tune out. I don't
Don't get me started
understand.
again.
Sorry, Raymond. It's
Yeah,
one of my
don't.
favorite things. It is so one of my favorite things. Superdickery.com.
It's one of my favorite things too.
It's so good. We shared. But I share things that I like, and I try to be positive, and even people I think behave badly, I try to give benefit of the doubt, because I want, when I say something that just enrages someone or triggers someone, I want benefit of the doubt. And I don't understand this farming of insults, that people would pay money in a super chat to just have someone read an insult of another human being.
Especially one that's on the stream.
I have been really struggling to, especially somebody as like obviously nice as Tristan.
Oh geez, again, in their eyes, she's a grifter. I mean, that was one thing they were doing leading up to. Here's the thing, though. Leading up to the stream, there were people saying, "You just keep calling her a grifter. That's your tactic. Just keep calling her a grifter until she quits."
The claims require evidence.
No, not to these people. These people, they already are convinced she's a grifter because they feel like, oh, she's doing all this stuff because she's an SJW who just wants to get money, even though she never asks for money. She never asks for anyone to do the like. She does say like, share, and to subscribe. That's as far as she goes.
Okay, but again, there is no evidence to this. We shouldn't even. Not shouldn't. I don't see the purpose of even discussing this. The people making.
No, we're not talking about Toxic Pop. No, we're not.
The people making the claim are the ones that have to provide the evidence of said grifting. Until then, they don't get my time.
Oh, I agree.
You don't just get to make a claim and then have somebody disprove the claim. And she's an SJW. SJWs are terrible at making money. I know a bunch of them. They're terrible at making money. So enough. You're talking about people who are paying for comics who are super late or never come out, and they go, "That's fine, I don't mind." You're accusing anybody else of grift.
Oh yeah. But the honest, that was his exact comment.
Okay,
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah, but
just,
it's like this. Here's the thing, and it's much like what Shane and his wife had done during that. They knew going in they didn't have to convince anyone on their side. They didn't have to because everyone is just going to take every word they says as gospel. Everything they do. They basically went in saying like, we are going in just to entertain these people and totally just throw shade at Tristan because how dare she speak out against us? And they knew for a fact everyone on their side was going to be like, yeah, get her.
That really was what it was. I did dip it to the other chat multiple times, and it was vile.
What you're describing is monetized bullying.
Exactly what it is. And then you had someone that used to be a wrench on her channel, who Leo or Spider-Man, yellow Spider-Man or whatever, who had she took it away because he had blocked someone just because he didn't like their comments. Didn't give him a warning, just blocked. Okay. And she took his wrench away, and now he's all like, and Shane should just boot Tristan and Rocky just because he was spiteful. Oh yeah, like Bianca said, they tried to make Tristan seem like she was racist to Asians. She wasn't, but they weaponized Yanzi's minority status.
But here's another thing. Aren't they the ones saying that everybody needs to like basically chill out regarding accusations like that?
Except when they do it.
Okay, I deliberately did not get involved in this stuff because there were creators I respected on both sides. And so I'm just sitting here weighing the sanity of the arguments and I'm sitting here going, this doesn't make any sense to me. This just seems like Lord of the Flies territory at this point. Like, it's just comics has become such a small island with so few resources that everybody is going full on, let's paint blood on our faces and put pigs' heads on.
I hate to interrupt, but I got to get going, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No problem. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Raymond. Thanks for stopping by.
Super Dickery.
It's my new favorite website. Thank you, Liana.
Yep.
Raymond.
Yeah, but
have a good day, Ingrid.
Let's not dwell too much. Yep. Thank you very much. Yep, but yeah, let's not, Liana. Yeah, let's not dwell too much. Now that Raymond's gone, let's just because I know Ingrid's not into talking about that type of stuff. So
okay, so Ingrid's like me. We're sort of like, what? What's going on here? I'm confused.
Is that
vibe, man?
Yep.
Yeah.
But
I'd rather talk about like silly websites and kaiju movies. Like,
oh yeah. So wait, what kaiju movies have you watched?
Yongari is one of my favorite bad kaiju movies.
Never heard of that.
Oh, watch Yongari. It's fucking terrible.
What's it called?
Yongari.
How do you spell that?
Oh, how do you spell it?
Younger-ing?
So Yon Gary.
Oh yeah. Yon Gary, okay. Hold on. Okay, come on.
1967.
Oh, Monster of the Deep!
Yeah, it's terrible.
And it's a Toho movie?
Yeah. Hominus is back, too, by the way. We were talking about his theory without him here. But yeah, it's not a Toho movie. It was to rival the Toho.
Hominus is saying, it was had the intended effect, which was to throw her off, and it worked. She was already starting to comment in our chat, on the regular chat, saying like, "Sorry, guys," and she was giving up pretty much by that point. Especially when they kept interrupting her, but letting Comic Boom keep on talking.
Okay, but what does that accomplish? Like, I try to understand people's mindsets before I judge them. And the
mindset is simply, let's put her in her place so she dared not ever talk to us, call us out again, even with facts.
But what place? What place is she supposed to? Why are there places? This is books about people who run around in stretchy, colorful underwear. I don't get
Because
it.
she did. It's like what happened with Kevin Smith disproving the clownfish. How dare he? That's all they cared about was how dare he. That's the reason why they would just keep on trying to do everything they could to prove that clownfish was right, even though they beyond doing mental gymnastics to prove it. And you know what I mean?
Okay, but at least there's the cover of Punching Up there because Kevin Smith has a lot of money and he has connections to Hollywood.
Oh yeah, but it's the same mindset though, and they can do that. They will do that to anyone. Tristan, be it someone like Tristan or someone like Kevin Smith. They don't care if they talk back to their icons, their idols, their worship, the people they worship. Then it don't matter. Oh yeah, and as and Bianca pointed out, the guy had a squeaky sound effect because of her voice.
Wait,
Especially-
they were making fun of how she talked?
Yeah, oh yeah. There's the point where she's like, I don't know why you're doing that. Yeah, of course you wouldn't.
Is that why that weird air horn thing?
That was because of her voice.
What?
Yeah.
I admit I was having trouble following it.
Yeah, it was because of her voice.
What?
They were because everyone mocks her. Everyone outside of her community mocks her voice. You have Ethan mocking her voice big time. So they decided to take the ball and roll with it because it's an easy target.
But there's nothing wrong with the way.
Oh, I agree. There's nothing wrong with the way she talks, but because some loud voices in their chats keep on installing her voice, they decide to roll with it, and they are catering. That's what these people do. They cater to their chats.
But
And because some people hate her voice, they decided to take the ball and run with it.
But that's irrelevant to any opinion.
Doesn't matter. Something they can mock, they'll do it.
But why?
Easy targets. That's why these guys cannot stand on their own. They can't do anything but go for the easy low blows.
But nobody seeing that is gonna respect
It doesn't
that.
matter. Except among themselves. That's the issue. It's among themselves. Everyone among themselves in that group cares, and they're like, "Yes, you're awesome! Yeah!" They're doing the big applause to each other, and that's all they matter. They don't care about anyone else. They don't care anyone on Tristan. They don't anyone care who stumbled on in. It's about the collective group of Comicsgate that they are catering to, and that's the only thing that they care.
Confused duckface.
I'm pretty sure, Ingrid, you're just as confused as she is, aren't you?
Yeah.
I know. It's stupid. It is beyond stupid. That tells you how malicious they've gotten.
Okay,
They don't care about...
I've done a lot of Comic-Cons. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Comic book fans are all kind of misfits. We all have something dysfunctional or wrong with us.
Mm-hmm.
It sort of comes with the territory, right? Like we're the ones that get picked on. We're the ones that got bullied. I am struggling to understand what the value of putting a YouTuber in their place does. What's the end goal?
Again, it's the creator worship of these people.
But what is that? What, worship the creator? Why are they involving anybody else? Like
I don't know. It's because like I said, they dare to insult that creator.
But even if they did, aren't they the ones that saying this is fair game? We should be able to do it.
Except you shouldn't expend their eyes. Are like the person feels unslighted. Get them, boys. Go get them. Sick them.
That's the Joker's goons.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. Bianca's got it right. High school boy tactics. It gives them a dopamine high.
So they
don't care.
Rush out of picking on somebody who just likes Jace Fox in Batman comics.
Well, Trista doesn't like him, but yeah, basically that's the same thing. They would get that same rush because they feel like
sorry.
how.
I misrepresented Tristan. I got her confused. Sorry, Tristan. I'm sorry. She's the only one to talk about Jace Fox with, so I got a little confused.
Yeah, but yeah, correct. Okay, Bianca, I think you need.
Correct. Correct, Rabbit. Be very quiet.
Shh, be very. There we go. She got third time's the charm.
Okay, I'm just sort of mind blown. I admit, this is
So am I. I have been mind blown every time I see this, but that's why they do it. They do it for no other reason than because they've become that evil. I hate to say it, it's evil what they've become, but they can't see it.
See, I don't like. I think evil.
I don't like it either. I don't like calling them evil either. I don't.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. As Haman said, they did it to boost the numbers for Inglorious Rex, their crowdfunded book.
Okay, at least that's something that vaguely makes sense to me. I can disagree with it on an ethical level, but it's
the outrage boost.
It's similar to what Netflix does. They create an enemy. They have people go after the enemy to get a boost for whatever property they're promoting.
Or they cater to the hate buyers or hate watchers.
Right. Okay. That at least
That's always something
sense to me.
suspect, because if you have something really good, you really should be promoting the merits of your thing and why it's good, rather than trying to torch somebody else's. It's already suspicious just in principle.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a good story to tell, if you have something that's really, really nice, you shouldn't really be too self-conscious about who else is out there on the market.
Exactly. That's why. Now, have you seen about Inglorious Rex, by the way, Liana?
I'm aware of it. I looked it up.
Have you seen the image? Because I look at it, I'm like, that's Doomsday! That's Doomsday!
Well, the backstory is not Doomsday. I'm not going to attack.
Oh, no, not the backstory, but the image.
I don't know. It's a mix. I have no problem with it. It's a creator.
Liana put it best here. Yeah, they also advertise that they're the ones being bullied.
I think his art is actually pretty good.
Oh, I like his art. I do like his art. I want him to get back to that Access book that he dropped doing Superman Earth 1 Volume 3 to do that he never finished.
Well, I mean, he got quite a bit of money on this crowdfund, so I understand why he wants to complete this, but I just don't... I don't know.
I mean, because Ingrid here, she's a big D&D person, and she's been having to deal with some of this stuff.
Nice! I'm super excited. Oh my god! I was just like, okay, happy squirrel. Like, okay,
squirrel.
What do you like about D&D? I love D&D.
Go right ahead.
Talk to me.
Honestly, there is so much I really like about it, and my only regret about the hobby is that I didn't get involved in it sooner, since it caters to so many different of my other hobbies. For one, I've always been a bit of a theater kid, and, well, being able to play a character after a long work week is a fun way to, throw off some steam and escape a little bit and hang out with some friends and shoot the
usually hear some of the adventures, the stuff she's done with her D&D crew.
What edition do you play?
We play 5th edition.
Okay. What class do you play?
Well, currently the campaign I'm playing is actually having our finale session this week, which is something that I have all sorts of emotions about. My
that's super bittersweet. Absolutely,
is a Paladin Warlock multi-class.
Wait, this is the end of your character that you've been doing the past few years?
Well, the campaign.
Well,
okay, the campaign.
Particular campaign. The world and the story will still continue on. It's just this particular plot line is going to be tied up. But
all right.
The first game I've ever been a part of. I've been a part of it since August of 2018.
Oh, that one. That far back. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, it looks like it's going to be absolutely insane in a good way.
Are you doing prefab?
I cannot wait to see her.
Sorry.
And
then we might have it sounds like we might have an epilogue session or two to sort of wrap up where our characters end up going, and then who knows what kind of games we'll be playing in this group in the future. It's It's pretty crazy. It's like the same emotions as you're watching your favorite like TV show or like comic or whatever end, except you're an active part in what happens.
So yeah, go ahead,
I like
Leanna.
making art and writing stories related to this game and to the characters, and it's just a collaborative storytelling experience that's really.
You asked her to start targeting Liana, and she is.
I love it. I freaking love it, man. This is what I'm here for. I love it. This is amazing. Is it a prefab campaign setting or is it homebrew?
Well, it's sort of a homebrew based off of the game that all of us who originally got involved in this group originally. Well, it sort of started from a lore community for the game RuneScape, so we sort of have set this in our own version of that game world, Gielinor, but we're doing a lot of twists on the story and on the setting so that it's like not just like we're playing the game that we already know, except this time we're throwing in the dice. No, we're sort of starting with that as a base, but then making it our own thing. And it has gone some pretty crazy directions over the past couple of years. And
from what everything you've told me,
people's first experiences as a player and as a dungeon master, so we did a lot of stupid things trying to figure out how you actually run a game and how you run a game long term and stuff, but on the whole it's just been fantastic.
How many players?
Well, it's sort of we're sort of between like typically the core group has been 6 people, though it sort of depends on who one of our players is sort of like has more of a demanding and random work schedule, so one of them's a bit more like off and on, but yeah.
That's fantastic. So good. So good. I mean,
yeah, we've spent an entire campaign of first trying to save a particular kingdom from a succession crisis, and then we basically blew the doors open.
Especially with your character.
Massive political occult conspiracy that now is coming to a head, and basically we have to stop this corrupt angel guy from creating this eldritch abomination god thing that wants to rewrite reality, because apparently this whole physical matter and separate things is something that's not really their speed. So yeah.
Cool. I mean,
Fifth Ed wasn't
designed for campaigns that long. So how have you, how have you managed the like leveling going on that long?
Well, actually, my DM did something rather interesting in that he basically cut it off at level 10, and we just happened to level a whole lot slower. And we sort of ended up almost entirely by accident to our early campaign decisions of switching around who we're playing as typically, depending on where in the world we're exploring. So it's a combination between leveling slower and actually playing a number of different characters throughout the game is how we managed to.
In other words, you've been in this more for the story, less about getting cool, powerful.
Yeah, we've definitely been more about the lore and the overarching story than we have about smacking things down and getting shiny loot. Though we have smacked down some cool things and gotten pretty shiny loot.
Liana, how often do you hear that?
Love it.
Liana, how often do you hear people groups like that?
Well, see, this is what I'm here for. This is the stuff I love. This is the stuff I love to hear. As obviously I know about this topic because I'm like, tell me all the things. But isn't this so much more fulfilling and feels so much better than like hating on somebody? I do play DOA beach volleyball. Now, I don't know if you saw my streams about DOA beach volleyball.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Bianca, I hope you can get on here soon, because I think you and Ingrid would get along great.
Yeah. It descended into fart jokes. Because
like I said, I played a couple of other characters alongside my main one. Another one of them is a barbarian gal who later multi-classed into bard. She started out wanting to circumnavigate the world. She's kind of like a Viking and wanted to follow in her father's footsteps. What ended up happening is that she met our main party's bard, and they had kind of ended up having a thing. They went on tour in a band, and now the two are kind of settled down, open up a tavern, and now they're going to get married.
Aww.
So
Robert, can
yeah,
Ingrid
she
be
went
my
out
friend?
to go and travel the world.
What? Wait.
Catching a man.
What was it?
Robert, can Ingrid be my friend? She is cool.
Hey, just Ingrid, just give Liana a follow, and yeah, I think
so cool. So great. I love it. I just love it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the stuff about nerddom that I love. I just love it is the only place in the world where someone can just go, I had a paladin warlock and a barbarian bard, and she's a Viking and she wants to circumnavigate the world. That it is just so beautiful and pure, and I
This
freaking
reminds
love
me
it.
of my main villain, Visceral, actually started from doing an online role play once, where I actually had him be a part vampire, part werewolf, hybrid.
Oh
But
yeah, I
no
always
side.
start in like online role-playing forums and like a Skype role-play group before I eventually moved on to doing more proper tabletop RPGs. And let me tell you, so I've always been into roleplay, but having that as sort of like a guaranteed thing that really seemed to like have more weight and matter a lot more, it's like it's really addicting. It's really satisfying.
Now, did you play any like video game RPGs, or did you start
Oh.
straight up from the interactive?
Oh, I have played so many video game RPGs. It's probably my favorite genre of video games to play.
It's one of mine.
CRPG or JRPG or both?
It's a mix of both.
That's awesome.
Like the
Mhm.
What
games
are-
that
what are
I
some
sort
of-
of have the most hours on nowadays collectively is RuneScape, which is my longtime love that
Okay,
I've been
yeah,
playing for over 15 years. And then more recently, I've sort of been all in
Kingdom Hearts fan.
I've been more recently into Genshin Impact.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
and again,
Cool.
she said, she's very much into the lore.
Yeah,
That's super
I'm
cool.
into the lore for on other games, but I'm no slouch of game player myself.
Oh yeah,
I can
obviously.
beat Dark Souls, I can beat Bloodborne. It's just that I generally tend to lean more towards enjoying the story aspects of games.
Same with
That's
me.
fantastic.
Same with me.
That's
So
fantastic.
taking a big boss into the ground is pretty fun sometimes too.
Yeah, the From games are having fewer of those massive bosses. When I went back and played the Dark Souls remaster, I'm like, oh yeah, there were a lot more of these like giant things. What the fuck? When
You mean
first
like
see them.
straight out of the Colossus?
Well, Shadow of the Colossus is a different dev. That's
No, but I'm saying the size is what I mean.
Oh yeah. No, like those really cool like monster bosses, or like
Oh,
Sekiro
yeah.
had a few cool ones, but they're putting in too many humanoid bosses in the more recent games, and it's kind of bumming me out. Because that first moment of
I don't
how
know.
the fuck, you don't think so?
I suppose it's a matter of preferences because a lot of the bosses I've liked over the various Soulsborne games that I've played have been more humanoid type fights.
What, like Lady Butterfly and stuff like that?
Well, my favorite boss from all of Bloodborne is Lady Maria from the DLC. If that tells you anything.
I didn't play the DLC. I got pissed off at the fucking
Oh.
spider. And I was like, fuck this game. Too much straight.
Ingrid, I'm sure you've heard that before, right?
Fuck
Pissed
that
off.
spider.
I've definitely heard that one before.
Fuck that fucking spider.
Honestly, it's not that I'm particularly mechanically good at the game. I just have a
Well,
lot
I'll say this. I'm one of those people who I would sooner use a cheat trainer just so I can get through the story of a game, just because that's how much I'm into these games.
That misses the point of a From game, though. Like,
Oh no, I haven't touched any of those games.
Yeah,
I'll be
no,
honest. I have not
the-
touched.
the
Oh, by the
thing
way,
I
yeah,
like-
Bianca says hi, Ingrid.
Hello,
The thing I
Bianca,
like-
and I understand they're not for everyone. I will freely admit that they.
Oh yeah, and I wouldn't do a cheat on that. I'll be honest.
With me.
I would not do a cheat on any of those games, those FromSoft games.
The nice thing about the FromSoft games is that, except I thought the reaction time window on Sekiro was a little too punishing, but if you stick with it, it's not a question of like twitchy hand-eye coordination. It's learning patterns and responding correctly to the patterns.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to put in the time, except for that fucking spider. There's too much fucking strafing, and that's why I hate that fucking spider. Pardon the swears, but yeah, no, there are games. It's like Cuphead's another one where you just have to submit yourself to the process, and
There's a reason why now you're having people say it's the Dragon Soul like game. Just like now, do you think Dragon Soul like is ever going to reach the same level as roguelike, or where it's its own subgenre, or do you think not?
I don't know, because to me, the Dark Souls games have sort of their own thing, but at the same time, they are sort of throwbacks to games from the past, like stuff like Battletoads that were hard.
Battletoads, yeah. Oh, have you played the reboot?
Mm-mm.
I have not.
Oh, Ingrid, can I tell you something funny that happened since Hominus is here? He's going to probably grow when I bring this up. I had him on at one point. He once asked if you and I were either dating or you were my sister, and I'm like, neither. She's my friend. Because Ingrid and I, when we do our stuff, we get along so well that some people thought it was one or the other. It's like neither. She's a coworker friend.
That's the cool thing about these circles, though, too, is that there sort of is that. I mean, we're like buds now because we talked about D&D. Like that's the sort of thing.
And Bianca, throw Bianca in.
Poor Bianca.
Once she gets home, I'm sure she'll join up.
Well, Bianca will learn the references. Bianca has,
Hominus, I'm making fun. Hominus, I'm making fun, all right? I'm not, I'm just making fun, dude, all right?
You know what I'll give? He asked instead of, like, making a statement, and that's something I find really
I appreciate that. I do appreciate that.
That's adorable as opposed to frustrating, right?
Exactly.
Like, I really don't like it when people are like, "Oh, they're fucking" or something like that.
Oh God, I've had that with Tristan so many times. It's like she and I are good friends. I don't want to get into her pants or anything like that. She and I are close, good friends, and yet, you're simping for her. You're white knighting her. Fuck you. That's your excuse for anyone.
They say it about.
It seems like
people,
more of a case of rejection where they can't necessarily understand somebody having that close of a bond without it being romantic in nature, because it reveals a lot about how they think about the world.
Then again, isn't that what the left do too, though, where they assume, these two close friends, they're gay. They're fucking.
I was about to say they're straight coding you instead of gay coding you.
Yeah, exactly.
It has to be a romantic relationship.
I'll be honest. Here's where I stand on things. I personally have the belief. This is my own personal opinion. I personally think everyone has the potential of being bisexual. They just never met anyone that had that spark, or if there was one that has a spark, they're either already with someone else that had a bigger spark, or on either side or whatever. That's how I always think. I always think there's always the possibility. Is it a guarantee? Never a guarantee. But, you always have, that would explain why some people have that I go gay for that person, or they have the man crush or a woman crush on something, but they still feel like, well, I'm not gay, but that's my own personal belief.
Yeah, I mean, that is basically the Kinsey theory, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it exists on a scale. I know some people who are just straight, period.
Oh, yeah.
And it's one of those things.
Well, I say, I'm as straight as an arrow. But that doesn't mean I haven't had some moments where I'm just like, to a guy, whatever, a movie star or whatever. Or you just hear their voice, like Keith David or...
Like Ingrid's voice.
Really?
Keith David does have an excellent voice.
I know, but yeah, Keith David or Morgan Freeman or... I forget
you have a type here, Robert.
Or I forget the actor's name, but Garrus from Mass Effect.
I don't know that actor's name.
But you know that voice, though, of course.
Yeah, that's a great voice.
Hold on, let me look at the guy's voice.
Maybe it's the whole IT.
Brandon James Keener. Brandon James Keener is his name.
Hominus, I booted that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just started. Yeah.
Yeah,
the so-called man crush.
See, I think that's cool. I think people get way too hung up on this stuff. That's why I admit I get sort of uncomfortable about these fan wars focused
Uh,
on anything involving sexuality,
oh,
because
jeez. It's why
these
I
are
hate. No, sorry.
when they are tunes, it's like they're tunes. There are not that I. This is one of those things I really don't understand, but I don't have myself tied up in the fantasy. I
Mm-hmm.
guess I just sort of like
Well,
it.
I say this. It's when it comes to the obsessed shippers, the ones who focus on nothing but their ships, and then especially the ones that start to demand that the show caters to them. And it's worse is when the shows actually cave in, like Ruby. Ingrid, would you agree with that? Ruby has really started to cater to the Bumblebee shippers, and to the point where it's hurting the show a little.
Well, it's one of many things hurting the show, but yes.
I
I mean,
mean,
because here's the thing. One example. I think I might have told you this before, Liana, but I'll repeat it. There was a point where you had the two main characters of the Bumblebee ship, which is Blake and Yang. They are separated. They got separated because during their adventure, and then eventually when they come back, they reunite. But at the same time, one of them is bringing back a wounded friend and everything,
okay.
and so it's like bigger thing priorities. But what did the shipper say? Why didn't they kiss right then? They're back. Why didn't they kiss? Why? It's like you want that to be their first kiss. No, they just want it over and done with, and it's just like, ah. You know what I mean? It's just that type of thing. It's just that. No, I know you don't know about the characters. I'm just going for that scenario.
I'm vaguely aware of this thing. I yeah, I'm like I've turned into the Tasmanian devil trying to get my
all of you.
I think another thing that sort of adds a sort of layer of why I just kind of look at all of this nonsense is go, is that I think I'm at least some kind of asexual. So it's just like, I just...
Well, understandable. Completely understandable.
This kind of feels like really alien in some kind of ways.
But here's my biggest issue.
Why are you freaking out about this so much? What's the big deal?
Yep, and here's one thing that really pisses me off. It's when you have so many people who get upset. It's like they take the character's bi. Oh, that means they're gay. Like, well, what makes you say that? Well, why aren't they seeing them with a straight couple? It's like, so in other words, being bi is Schrodinger's sexuality to you. Either they're gay or they're straight. They're never both at the same time. Even when I can list examples of characters that have been shown on page in comic books dating both genders. Doesn't matter. They're not. They're one or the other. They're not. They cannot be both. And I'm just like, fuck you guys. That's not how bisexuality works. I mean, look at Steve Orlando. He was ticked off. He openly admitted he's ticked off when people typecast him. Yes, he has a gay partner. Doesn't mean that he's gay. He is bisexual.
And people get so invested in this stuff, and it confuses me so much. I think that's because I always sort of identified with male characters, male monsters. We had my whole discussion about my love of ugly things earlier. The more it looks like a dick as a character, the more I like it. What does that say about me?
So I think you like that one guy that had a brief appearance in the final season of Samurai Jack. You know, like, hey, his face looks like a giant penis.
I just loved all of Samurai Jack. Period.
Oh yeah. Have you played the game, or at least did you see the alternate ending that the game did?
I didn't. I sort of fell off of that. I lose track of these things because there's too much to consume, you know. But I guess because I got involved.
Bianca by the best.
And that's ridiculous. I mean, I guess because I got into D&D at such a young age, I'm like, well, if you really like a character and you want to tell a completely different story with a character, well, make an RPG character and go. You know.
Exactly.
Vampire the Masquerade is designed to just gay that shit up. Just Anne Rice, right? Like, just
rest in peace. Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. But just, I mean, gay vampires were the thing in the 90s, right? But
yeah,
I just do not understand the demands. And it's funny because I'm coming at this from, okay, this is a terrible pun. I'm coming at this from both sides. Because when I originally sort of got into the Witcher books, I
Mm-hmm.
used to make jokes about Jaskier / Dandelion being super gay for Geralt.
Mm-hmm.
And Witcher fans would just lose their shit on me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now when I say, no, man, like ship them all you want, I know I have, but Jaskier is canon straight. That matters. Now I'm getting shit on for that. And so I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
my opinion has remained consistent, but the freak out, hey, Otaku Cat, the freak out had the poll on the freak out has shifted. So now a completely different group of people is yelling at me. And I'm like, I just don't care enough about a dude named Dandelion to really care overly much what anybody thinks. And it's the same thing with like, what is it, Supercorp? That whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's what was the other thing that somebody accused another show of queer baiting? Oh, they accused The Witcher of queer baiting. And I'm
Supergirl.
like,
Yeah, you were doing like the Supergirl thing.
and I
Yeah.
mean, to me,
Well,
Carol
hey,
Brown,
Ruby got that as well when it came to two guy characters, and then they killed the guy character off, and they're like, "You queer baited us." It's like,
but
uh,
how many lesbians did you need on Supergirl? Like Kara is the straight sister.
nope, you got to make them all gay. It's the only way to make them happy.
I mean, I was way more into Alex on that show. I really liked her. I haven't finished the show because it got a little juvenile for me, but
Mm-hmm.
Dandelions are great for kidney detoxing. Yes, he is. But yeah, it just I had this trouble with the Lord of the Rings too. I gotta go soon, but
Okay.
remember when the Lord of the Rings movies came out and they cut my favorite sequence from Fellowship of the Ring, which was the whole Barrow White Tom Bombadil sequence.
Oh yeah, we never
right?
got Tom Bombadil in
Never
any
got
of the movies.
one reference, but never got Tom Bombadil, never got the Barrow White, and
Except in the games, the Lego games, they put them in.
yeah. But I was getting schooled by people who had only seen the movies, never read the books on lore for the series. And at first I got really annoyed. And then I was like, I'm just gonna sit back and listen and accept that there is a different relationship that people have with this stuff, and my relationship is not their relationship, and let me try to understand that relationship. Based on the rest of this stream, I think it's pretty clear that I'm still trying to understand that relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah, like I totally get people's attachments to their D&D characters, but these fictional characters in linear stories written by other people, I don't get it.
Right. Well, I understand you got to get going, but let's wait a little bit longer. I think Bianca's going to show up. Just so we can have a brief moment.
Bianca. I mean, I admit this stuff worries me as a creator because you don't want people to get mad at what you do. At the same time, if you chase the fan service too much, you start violating your creative vision and good stuff doesn't happen.
Oh, yeah. No, there are times where you can get a good balance. Like, I still say No Way Home had a good balance. I mean, it overdid a lot of the fan service, but...
That, the most recent one, if so, I haven't seen it.
I won't spoil it then. I'll just simply say, though...
I just saw Encanto over the holidays and thought it was fantastic. So
Bianca loved it. But as I told you before earlier, I saw Thing 2. It was not bad. It wasn't phenomenal, but it wasn't bad either.
Did you see the second Venom?
Oh, yes, I did. Hold on a second.
Bianca!
Bianca?
She's getting her mic.
Hello,
Bianca. I understand you loved Encanto too.
Oh.
Nope.
I think that was Ingrid you heard say hello. So.
Hello?
There you go.
Hi.
Don't worry, I heard cheers from before. Thank you.
Yes, Encanto, so good, right?
Yes, I loved it so much.
It's so good. If anybody hasn't seen Encanto, see Encanto.
No, hey, Tristan! Thanks.
Tristan!
We don't talk about Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno. No.
Wait, did you see my review?
No, did you do a review?
Yes, she did. She did a review on that, but she also did a review on Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay, can't watch that. Haven't seen it yet. La 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 la. They actually
Don't worry,
closed the-
Encanto is the first half. As soon as I start talking about Spider-Man, that's when you stop.
Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
because they actually closed movie theaters here before I could see Spider-Man.
Oh.
I was actually taking up to brave it, but then they put in COVID restrictions and were only honoring pre-sale tickets. So, and then they shut everything down. So I haven't been able to see it yet. And Tristan.
Yeah, Trish, you come on, Trish, you come on too if you want.
We will talk about Tristan.
Yeah. Okay, but you know what movie I'm looking forward to? Even though, Bianca, loud noise. Sorry, but that's
adjusting.
right. But I'll say it's one movie I'm looking forward to. But even though I'm pissed off that it's now going streaming only, it's Turning Red,
Turning Red?
the Pixar movie
Oh,
about the girl who turns into the giant red panda.
Oh,
I want to see that so badly.
super
Ooh.
cute.
I mean, Ingrid, have you seen that?
I have not.
Oh, it looks phenomenal. And I love how the girl is so confident in herself right off the bat. She's a nerd and she loves it. But then she becomes
You
the red panda.
bro.
Yeah. And then she becomes the red panda, it shatters her confidence, and she builds herself back up.
That sounds like a pretty neat
Oh, you're
premise.
still working? Completely understandable, Tris. Completely
We love you,
understandable.
Tristan. We love you.
I appreciate it. And hey, at least I was able to convince her to finally like the turtles.
Oh, yes, I heard this story.
Must have Liana like The Sims now.
Oh
Never
no!
gonna happen.
Never gonna happen.
Never
Even
gonna happen.
I'm not even crazy enough to try and do that. I'm not even.
You know what though? The whole being able to say repeatedly that I hate The Sims has made me like just dislike The Sims and not hate them. I think the cathartic process and the fact that I had to work in hating The Sims into every freaking script for like 19 episodes kind of got me over it. And if I can learn to just be ambivalent about The Sims, everybody can get over their hatreds.
Exactly, but yeah, no, seriously though, yeah, with Turning Red, it looks like it's gonna be so fun.
It does. It looks really
I
adorable.
actually have some fun fact about that film.
Well, I know one is and where it's always by the director who did that Bao short film. You know, the woman with the
Bao.
mother, Bao, the one with the little dumpling that comes to life.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
I remember that one.
Yeah, same director. She's Chinese Canadian, and part of her doing this is that she wants to give some, love to being Chinese Canadian, but without making it be like a dominant, like, oh, see, rubbing it in your face about it.
I'll do you one better. This
Go ahead.
is the first ever Pixar film with a solo female director.
That's
Oh
true.
yeah, that's very
That's
true.
true.
The last one was where they were co-directors.
Yeah.
For Brave.
Hmm.
It was a
Yeah, for
co-director
Brave.
on Brave. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
But-
pretty cool.
I still can't believe the other co-director that was Steve Purcell, Sam and
Yeah.
Max.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, Sam and Max, and yet we never got a cameo somewhere.
I think that's licensed by somebody else.
Yeah, Steve himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, does he own it?
I think he owns it. I'm pretty sure he owns it. Not the video game rights, but
I have just Pixar does well with furry movies, so I have good faith in the continuation of furry movies. The moments of like sexy animal dancing in those movies always confuse me.
oh,
There was-
sorry. Am I that loud still? I am so sorry.
Yeah. There were sexy donkeys dancing with donkey butts in Encanto, and
Encanto, I'm back.
I wasn't sure what
Yep.
to think about it, but I love the movie. And what was her
Oh.
name? Louisa. I really liked her as a character.
Luisa.
They were all
Oh.
really good. They were all really good characters.
Liana, Bianca should tell you about when she knows there might be a little tease about incest in Encanto. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Bianca.
Yeah, it was that time when Bruno has these like rats who do like theater, and then he was like, their love can never be. And then Mirabelle was like, I don't understand. He was like, oh well, first of all, like the lady has amnesia, and she fell in love with her nephew. So that's the forbidden love.
Oh, the whole telenovela shtick.
Yeah, the telenovelas.
Yeah. Oh, there's everything goes in telenovela.
Everything. Bro, oh my gosh.
But that was such a super good movie. So good.
Yep.
Let me see.
And now we're going hentai. No homies, we are not going hentai.
I'll do my channel.
We are? We're doing. We went hentai? Where was
No,
hentai?
I don't know. I know he's messing.
No. Reject.
Reject. Abort.
I regret forever mentioning that on this channel.
What, hentai?
Yeah. Ever since I mentioned the word hentai as a joke, now everybody talks about it.
It's okay. It's all a joke.
That's just because we're like coping with humor.
Okay, hey, Leon, I might bring this up. Did I tell you about this one anime I had seen that totally, completely, I point at saying, you want an anime with an agenda? Look here. Master of Martial Arts. Did I ever tell you about that, or are you aware of that show?
Yeah, you mentioned that one.
Yeah, I just wanted to check that because seriously, I still look at that and I'm just like, wow, that is an agenda if I ever heard one, and yet no one brings it up for good reason, of course. But it's still a case where you're just like, but
I think a lot of Westerners don't see the political commentary in anime because they don't understand the politics of Japan.
Yes,
that's very true.
Yeah.
Oh. Speaking of which, you want to know something that Ingrid and I figured out when we were watching the Godzilla anime trilogy?
Oh, no!
Yeah. You know the guy who wrote it, right? It's the same guy who did Psycho-Pass and Madoka Magica.
And is doing Bubble right now on Netflix. Yes.
Well, I realized
and he also did that Taiwanese show.
Right, but I realized something now. He's very much like Ryan Johnson or Paul Feig. Perfectly good at deconstructing already its own, an IP, a genre through its own IP. Given him already established IP, with the exception of Kamen Rider, it seems, he can't help himself but mishandle the property. Because, good God, that anime trilogy sucked!
I just discovered
Almighty, it was its own kind of torture.
You were saying?
I just discovered Ingrid's cat.
Trouble!
Yes!
Trouble is the
every Monday.
This is Trouble, and he's a tuxedo cat?
Yes.
Yep.
He's super cute.
Yep. He's he could be, well, he's not troublesome, but when he's like with me, he's always like, who are you?
Is he a dilute tuxedo? Like, is he gray instead of black?
He's more of a dark gray. Yeah.
Yeah, he's such a cutie.
Where are you seeing this magnificent kitty?
Oh, on her Twitter account.
Yeah,
Dang
on her
it.
Twitter account.
Look up her name, Zariel Diamond. Just look it up.
And there's a Blue's Clues and a Kirby, and now I'm just Twitter stalking Ingrid.
Hey, I'm glad I could bring friends together.
Okay, this is pay it forward from me introducing Raymond to Super Dickery because he was just gone.
Yep, but in all honesty though, Leona, trust me, the Godzilla movie trilogy, with the exception of the second one, but that's because they had co-writers, were so pretentious. I mean, okay, first movie could have been fine on its own. Basically, you have Godzilla showed up. He wipes out.
Ones?
Yeah, the new ones that are on Netflix. No, the Netflix anime movies.
Like Godzilla vs. Kong.
No. Godzilla, Planet of the Monsters, City on the Edge of something, and yeah, and Planet Eater. Those three. These are anime movies, not the Monsterverse. And in the first movie, Godzilla has awoken. He has devastated Earth. Humanity has gone off into space to get away from it. Eventually, they come back. It took about 2,000 years to do so. And when they do, they land. The main character is obsessed with taking out Godzilla because his family died. Overly obsessed to the point where it's like he knows thousands of years have passed. Doesn't matter. He still wants revenge. By the end, they seemingly kill Godzilla. Then it turns out, that was the son of the monster that chased them out. Godzilla is even bigger, more invincible, and basically they're all screwed, and that first movie ends. Would have been a great twist, would have been a good done in one. But then they continued. Ingrid, you care to talk about the others?
Oh boy, if you're ready for me to go on a long-winded
Yep.
then sure. The
Don't go
second
too long
one
with it.
was probably the best
Wait, what, Bianca?
Before we start though, I'm just like, if you see somebody liking your cat pictures, that's me.
I mean, that's what they're there for. I give you a boost of serotonin on Mondays.
Thank you.
Anyway, continue on, Ingrid.
Right, so the second movie is probably the best one out of them.
Not by much. You need. It's only good if you if you file off the serial numbers.
Yeah. So basically, now we're sort of introduced to the people that are supposed to be in the analog to
The inheritors of the
Mothra.
Earth. Yeah.
They're basically bug people that worship what's some kind of dormant form of Mothra. So these people previously wake up in the care of them, and then they sort of then find this like weird metal they're using. They realize, wait, that's the same metal we made Mechagodzilla out of. And so they go to try to hunt down where Mechagodzilla is, and as it turns out, this self-replicating metal has turned Mechagodzilla into a whole damn city. And so now, with sort of the apparent like resource problem solved, they attempt to use this in order to stop Godzilla. And there's a lot of conflict there, because that didn't mention it before, but there's actually a number of different alien races that are also on the ship, though you wouldn't tell they're aliens.
Yeah,
They
it's
basically
Star
just look
Trek.
like people.
It's very Star Trek like, with oh, they're aliens, but you wouldn't know to look at them.
I will say this is not the most confusing thing I've heard all night.
Wait, no, but it's going to get infuriating when we get to the third movie.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically you have some people, we're sort of like debating.
Well, first of all, the main guy and his love interest. The love interest gets put into a coma, never gets out of it. That's a partial important point for the third movie.
Yeah, and you're sort of like, this one probably also had like the best delivered moral, since like one of the particular races whose name I forgot was sort of like a proud warrior race sort of archetype, and they sort of like
they sort out the window in the next movie.
Yeah, and basically their sort of thing was to sort of become one with the monsters, so to speak, and merge with Mechagodzilla as the city as part of the efforts to defeat Godzilla. And they managed to, like, at least halt Godzilla for a time, if not, like, totally kill him. And the whole, hey, sometimes in fighting monsters you become a monster, went a lot more naturally in this movie. And then they tanked everything to hell in the stupid excuse of the last movie, which was a bunch of nihilistic, pretentious claptrap. Because one of the other alien races has sort of like done a lot of talking about religion up until this point, and then we sort of find out exactly what their religion is. As it turns out, they worship freaking Ghidorah, of all things, who to them is this kind of like extraplanar entity and is apparently just this like...
He destroyed their world, but they worship him.
Yeah, and they basically sort of
I'm
like
Mothra's
have this
supremacy.
Yeah, and it's basically just kind of a, since civilization is has the seeds of its own destruction inherent within it, we should just embrace that. And they kind of like dupe.
They trick all the humanity. They trick humanity. They trick the rest of humanity into killing themselves to bring Ghidorah. They're all dead. And when Ghidorah showed up, everyone is in space. They brought the entire humanity in space as well. Wiped out. Humanity is pretty much dead. With some exceptions.
I think listening to you guys describe it is probably more enjoyable for me than the movie.
And then
it was torture to get.
Yeah, but basically it's like religion, bad. Humanity, bastards. Technology, good God. They're basically the main bad guy. The guy who convinces everyone to kill himself says, "Oh, technology is bad and wrong," and they don't question him, even though they know he betrayed everyone. Nope, he was right about that. Get rid of all technology. Get rid of all medicine. Everything. We're going back to Earth entirely, and we're just going to mate with the bug people.
But wait, mate with the bug people?
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
compatible. They're compatible. Turns out the main guy, we see him setting up. We see him setting him up with one of the twins. But at the end, we find out he knocked up and married the other twin that they weren't even setting up. You okay, Liana?
I'm going to have to sit and meditate after this stream.
Hey, at least you didn't watch the movie.
Yeah.
So many things. I thought I was cynical and apathetic.
But not this bad, right? Oh, and then the main character, he and his comatose love interest leave his now pregnant wife, and then fly off and get killed off by Godzilla because you're destined to maybe destroy everything, but maybe not. Oh, but I'm gonna listen to the crazy religious nutcase who killed off everyone because he knew what he was talking about. You're cutting.
Is that a Cthulhu plushie?
It's actually a pajama bag.
That makes it funnier. That makes it funnier.
Jammies, and I put a stitch in Cthulhu to keep him to stand up. He's a
Yeah,
backpack.
Nice, but yeah, that is why we hate it. That third movie, it was the whole. Again, the first movie would have been fine. It would have been on a very Twilight Zone-like ending. Second one ended on hope. That third one, it basically made it very clear. Yeah, again, humanity. Like I said, everything. Humanity bastard, technology evil, and religion bad.
Mating with the bug people, Robert.
I know.
Mating with the bug
Basically,
people.
the bug people are the future of the world. Basically, the whole point was you should just let the monsters destroy you. And if you get away, never come back. Otherwise, you're all going to die.
But bugs are not mammals.
Well, no, they evolved into mammals.
How? But
20,000 years passed.
I am asking questions I do not want the answers to.
I'm back.
I'm just
Welcome back.
They don't explain
What the
it
heck
much
is
either,
that?
to be fair.
They don't explain much either. They just tell us to accept it.
Is that Cthulhu?
It is Cthulhu.
Nice.
We hit mating with the bug people, and I needed a comfort.
It broke you. It broke you. But how do you think it was for us? How do you think it was for us watching it?
Hugging
Ew.
and rocking.
So basically, the TLDR is don't let the Uro Butcher near an original property for everyone's sanity.
And don't mate with the bug people.
Okay, see ya, hominid. See ya, hominid.
I'm with hominid. I have to
See
go.
ya.
I actually had to go 2
Okay.
minutes ago, but this was too fun.
I know.
Okay.
I'm sorry for giving you that need for brain bleach.
No, that was great. Thank you, Robert. Happy birthday.
Wait,
Thank you
I
very
have
much.
something to say
Choice
to
of
Liana
brain
before she
bleach
goes.
I need to purge this out of my mind. Let me just go grab a plush version of an existential horror. That's sure to get the bad
sorry.
vibes away.
Makes me eager to understand me. That was exactly my motivation.
I have to have you three ladies on again someday. I need to get you.
Bianca wants to say something. Hang on, and then I gotta go.
Okay, what was it, Bianca?
There was actually a topic that just popped into my head like a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, would probably be a good topic for me to talk about. I'm not a writer, but I think this is something that can be interesting. I won't say how I got this topic yet, but it was talking about characters victim blaming themselves when something happens, like when they are almost raped or sexually assaulted or molested in any sort of way, but they have the characters blame themselves for the person who's committing the act getting in trouble. That was something that I wanted to talk about, though I feel like it might be a depressing topic.
Yeah, I mean that does happen in some people, right? I mean,
It's not something I've explored too extensively in my own writing, to be fair.
well, the games I play, we tend to have the RPGs and stuff like that. We tend to have a no no assaulting rule just because shit goes sideways fast. But it does. This is such a difficult topic because it is so upsetting. I mean, last night in the stream, people were saying the topic makes me feel sick.
Yep,
And
and agreed.
That's what makes it so difficult, because people who have survived this stuff, they hear that and then they don't want to talk about it. They clam up, especially men. But there are
unfortunately, Dade, I do not have the capability of super chatting. I do not have that. I have live stream, but I've still not reached being monetized.
Oh, geez, man.
Yeah,
you need a PayPal or something.
I should. I think I might still have a PayPal. Let me see if I still have it.
I just set up mine, but I got super confused on how to do it and got anxiety.
PayPal wants a rubber freaking glove right now, man. They want you to mate with the bug people.
You're not gonna let that go, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm freaking. You see the stuff I'm good at, but mate with the bug people. Oh, you see Bianca, I'm like, I'm totally cool talking about this, but mate with the bug people. I need a grown up.
I need an adult.
If it goes any further, I'm gonna start singing show tunes, and I save that for my own streams.
Yep. Question: do you ever know how I could share my PayPal account? Because I do not know how to do that.
You set it up as a merchant, and then either send somebody an invoice or send somebody your merchant link, or you just give someone your email. But that you can do a merchant link, so you don't have to.
Yeah, because I did not have mine set up as a merchant.
What I was supposed to do? Gosh, dang it! Now I got.
Are you able to change it? Are you able to change it to be a merchant, or do you have to do that from the beginning?
No,
it says that you can make a separate account, or you can put it together, or just change like from your personal to business or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it matters. Quite frankly, it doesn't seem to change very much. But I just like to give it as little personal information as possible, so I made it. And then I've got like my chat service that I just started up for
Dade. Sorry, Dade. Sorry, I don't know why I said it that way.
Yeah,
Dade.
Dade. I mean, I would say Dade because Miami Dade, but Dade. Okay.
Dade.
Like King DDD. Gotcha. But yeah, I just set up like my chat service, so it made sense for me to have more of a merchant account. And then I sound cool, and I feel like I'm constantly like playing D&D because I'm not a vendor. I'm a merchant. Right? I've got one of those porter things like in Zelda, and it's like super cool. I can have like a hat, like one of the floppy hats, and then the puffy sleeves. And I'm good. And no mating with bug people. Never, ever. Never.
Sorry for bothering you, Liana.
Okay, I probably actually, you know what? I probably won't set up a PayPal account like that for a one-time thing.
You can do Patreon.
Or do Patreon. But yeah.
Wait! I do have a Patreon. I do have a Patreon account.
It is Dade.
I
Okay,
was right.
it is Dade. Okay, so
it's Dade. All right. But yeah, I do have a Patreon account. Hold on.
Yeah, message me or email me, Bianca. I gotta go make dinner. So thanks,
yes,
guys.
I will also send you my He-Man Christmas gifts that I got.
Yay! Okay, real pleasure, everybody. Happy birthday, Robert.
Thank you very much.
Don't mate with the bug people.
Don't mate with the bug people. So yeah, hold on one second. Let me just find my.
I can never be as charismatic as that.
just a sec. I'm just getting to my account, my Patreon account. Here it is. I use that. So just just donate to me for a one-time there if you wish, and go right ahead.
Subscribe stars. You can do like.
Oh, do you want? If you want,
right?
What? Well, yeah, I do. I do. Well, I do both.
For Subscribe Star.
Oh.
Doesn't Subscribe Star have the option to do a one-time payment or to pay monthly? I don't remember. I
think so, actually. Let me. I do have a Subscribe Star account as well. Hold on.
Really?
Oh yeah. I don't usually promote it that much. I should have. Just a sec. Just a moment. Wait, do I actually have? I have my own account. Do I actually have it though set up? Hold on.
I'm also eating if you hear noise.
No problem. Well, hey, why don't you two get to know each other a little more?
Sounds like a plan.
So yeah, I mean Ingrid, Bianca, Ingrid.
Do you like your job?
I'd say that my job's pretty all right.
Same here. Well, she and I are in the same job position.
You
Not
both work at
position.
a warehouse.
Nope. IBM.
I don't know. You guys look like warehouse
We
people
work
to
in
me.
IT.
Yep.
Oh, so you guys stay home?
Well,
Yes, in
lately
fact,
we have been, yes.
I actually got some sweet home office upgrades for Christmas for my parents, so I feel
Ooh.
a little bit more professional and fancy. That doesn't stop
Nice.
me from sometimes wearing my PJs before I have to officially go on a conference call in the morning. Don't tell anyone.
Just wear
It's
a
all
hoodie
right.
over your PJs, and they won't know.
So, well, apparently with my subscribe star, it's still under review.
What does that mean?
It says
What did
here,
you do, Robert?
I never did much with it. That's why. I know not many people came by, not many people signed up. So yeah, I don't know if I can if people are willing to accept it or not. But I'll send. Like I said, so the other make like a tree and leave. You sound like a damn fool when you say it wrong. All right then, leave. Take your book with you.
I'm not much of a talker,
Oh.
despite me. I'll talk about animals all day, though. That's where my profession lies.
Right. Hold on. I'm just. Okay, come on. Why isn't anything?
Technology doesn't like you, despite being in IT.
Yep, that's very true. It don't like me at all. I don't know why it doesn't like me. Why don't you like me? Yeah, why is my profile under review? It says for possible increase from our screening team. Until your profile is approved, uploading and sync capabilities are limited to text and photos only. To expedite this product, add this address to your existing social contact. Send us links to these pages with the word expedite. Contact your existing accounts, connect your existing account, and activate your email. I've done that all.
You're gonna have to contact support then.
Probably, but like I said, there's either one of those. Hold on, let me get the invite link if you want to join in, man. So no problem. So remind me, Ingrid, how much into anime are you?
Oh, I definitely am into anime. I don't
Okay.
watch it as much as I used to, but I definitely enjoy an anime here and there.
Well, Bianca is definitely the resident anime otaku.
Yeah, you can tell because nobody looks at the recommendations you give.
Could you resend me those recommendations and I'll get to it,
I have to resend you those?
please?
No, you should know them by heart just because I say so.
Oh boy, where did that come from?
My mind.
Honestly, the real struggle with watching anime for me is, do I rewatch the series I already like for like the third or the fourth or the fifth time, or do I actually watch something on the backlog I've been meaning to get to for forever now?
Oh,
That's
quick
what I
What
thing.
think.
usually
happens
ends up
to me.
happening is that my ADHD compels me to watch random videos on YouTube for
Same
several
here.
hours.
Same.
Same
Yeah.
here. Oh, but hey, can I tell you something that I got for my birthday? I got a brand new Blu-ray player that that says on the box it's 4K on there. So I thought, oh, I got this 4K Blu-ray. Let's see if it works. Yeah, turns out it's that 4K upscaling, not playing.
What does that mean?
That means it can upscale your Blu-ray to be 4K like, but it can't play 4K Blu-ray player and DVD Blu-rays. So I sent back my copy of No Time to Die so I can then get a refund and then get a version of just a regular Blu-ray so I can at least have some of the features as opposed to having no features at all.
I'm sorry that happened.
I know, and it's really bothering me how it's basically there's some things that you can only watch on 4K, either television or Blu-rays. It's like, really?
Yeah, especially with nowadays.
Yeah.
I can't even do it on my
That's why I
own
use my
computer.
PS3.
I can't even do it on my own computer? Really? Ugh.
Unfortunately for me, I know these. I watch these animes that nobody's ever heard of, and so I'm just like, that's fine.
Such as?
Like if I say, have you heard of Grimgar, Fantasy and Ash? Have you heard of Blockade Battlefront? Have you heard of...
I have heard of Blockade Battlefront because I'm aware of one of the particular endings that has been parodied a lot in the general fandom space in large, including by the RuneScape art community that I'm a part of. So yeah, I am aware it exists vaguely.
Hey, man.
That's something.
Hey.
It gives my heart joy. Thank you.
Okay, first
Even though I
and
didn't
foremost,
understand what the heck you said.
it's Dade Lee Murphy. I don't know how you can screw that up. Secondly, happy
I'm
37th
sorry.
Happy
Thank you.
37th birthday, Robert. Very happy birthday to you, young man. And I
Yeah,
say young man because I'm like 10 years older than you, but you're aging better than I am by a little bit.
Except for I am losing my hair.
Please. I work with guys that are like half my age and they got nothing upstairs and
can I
downstairs.
show you something?
They look
Can I
like
show you something?
walking armadillos, I swear.
Right. Can I show you something that I got for Christmas?
Yes, please do. Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, is that like the entire? Is that like every
single
story?
one, every single story, and it's absolute measurements. It's the absolute, height and width. Oh, and I also got this recently. I got this finally. John Gurren Murphy's Kickstarter.
Oh shoot, mine's literally
City
behind
books.
me.
I remember, what was it? Those were they had the Little Prince when the DVD came out, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, just the first one that came in with the DVD.
Right, and that wasn't that Yellow Bastard or the big?
Oh no, it was just a hard goodbye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. No, see, I wanted to send you $37 for your birthday, one for each year, but everything you kept saying was roadblocking me, and it's like then I thought, well, that's not your fault. It was just being the way it was, and I'm like, well, I already have a Streamlabs account, but I don't know if you have that.
I have a Streamlabs. Hold on. No, I have StreamYard. I do not have I have StreamYard, not Streamlabs.
Yeah, so Adonis Paul uses Streamlabs, and I make donations to him like every once in a while. And I've already got that set up. And if you had that, I could have just shit, I could have done that. But you're like,
Nope, I don't. I use Restream and StreamYard because they're free, and they're really good at doing these stream stuff.
Yeah, Streamlabs is...
But it's confusing. But
it is confusing. It is. Oh, okay. I'm super confused. I had to watch a tutorial video, so I'm getting the hang of it now.
Right.
Okay, well, at least I don't feel like the oldest person in the room now.
Yep, but
I've tried to abstain from drinking any energy drink, but I have in my hand, you can't see it, but I have a Bang birthday cake bash can that I'm going to open. I'm sure you heard that, and I'm going to drink for your 37th birthday, even though I'm pushing 50 and shouldn't have caffeine.
Hey, it's all right. It's all right.
There it is. Birthday cake bash from Bang for Robert's.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. But hey, I have a question. Have you read this at all by any chance?
I honestly don't get time to read much. I have heard of it, but I don't get time to read much.
Well, get this.
Reading is fundamental.
Well, but here's the thing.
Reading is fun and mental.
I finally was able to get Tristan to get over her hatred for Ninja Turtles.
Good. About damn time.
Yep. How did I do? I showed her Batman Ninja Turtles.
Wait, you didn't show her the original Mirage run?
No, it was something. It was through Batman. She loves Batman, so it was through her love of Batman and seeing him interact with the turtles that finally got her to understand the turtles.
Okay,
The
well,
Mirage
now
were
if you
also
can get,
there.
Oh yeah, they were the Mirage.
Yeah, I was saying now if you can get her to read the original Mirage run,
Give it time. Give it time. Give it time.
But I haven't read the Mirage, and I love the turtles. But that's because I watched through the cartoons.
Yep,
Well,
that's what I love about the turtles.
I grew up with the cartoons too in the 1990 movie, but I found the original Mirage comics and I read all, what was it, 65 issues, and people are missing a lot of good shit.
Oh yeah, there's collections IDW has been doing. IDW has been doing a bunch of collections.
Yeah, they have been doing a bunch of collections, but I've found websites to where I could actually read the originals. And one of the best sets that I ever bought was the big hardbacks that IDW released, Volume 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're not every single ones, but those are pretty good. And IDW, thankfully, now I don't always agree with coloration, and sometimes you just got to take what you can get.
You say coloration, you keep talking.
The Ninja Turtles Classic from the Mirage run, and they've been colorizing it. It's pretty good. And so when they colorize it, they keep the mask red like they're supposed to because the multicolor was from the cartoon. Yep, exactly. Thank you. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yep, but this was a Mirage publishing. This was not IDW. This was the original Mirage they did for the anniversary. Yep.
So IDW is kind of there you go. See, IDW is kind of hit and miss. I actually put on my Twitter a scene that I really love in the black and version, especially. It's after they beat the Purple Dragon Gang and they go right back into the sewer. There's that scene where it just shows the city, and it's very beautiful. And it's in the book. A flip to it.
Hold on.
In the Ninja Turtles book, there you got. I
Yep,
think
hold
it's
on.
page 9, technically.
Yep.
I love that. I love that when it's in black and white because there's just something very calming about it.
But I think there's a bit calming with this particular coloring process. I think this is one of the better coloring processes.
Well, when I agree, it's really good. When I see that, I think of summertime, and it makes me think of heat. But when I see the black and white, you really don't think of any specific season. You think of night, and you think of calm.
Yep. Oh, look what else I got.
Nice. There you go. Usagi Yojimbo.
And signed by Kevin Eastved. Even though it's ironic, he didn't contribute anything beyond the covers in this book. It was Peter Laird who did one of the artworks.
Well, I was gonna say if you get Laird to sign that someday, you're gonna have the double whammy on that sucker.
And if I can get Stan Sakai to do a sign as well, of course. So. Like I say, I love that crossover, how he actually acknowledges it's the same Usagi Yojimbo, but he's dealing with the IDW Turtles. That's why when they meet the Turtles, it's like, you are not the Leonardo I know.
Oh, that's interesting that you say that.
Yeah, right there.
One of the things that, since people want to talk about having a multiverse, I think that the Turtle multiverse is probably one of the better ones.
Turtles forever.
Well, that's my point. That's what I was getting to. One of the things I was telling them, I had arguments.
Whoa. Sorry, Bianca, was that you?
Yeah, it's always me.
So I was hearing people having a fit over the rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I said,
part of the multiverse.
Well, thanks. I was, I don't
sorry.
Me when
I'm sorry.
I try to tell people, hey, look, it's part of a multiverse. You don't have to like it if you don't want to. There's plenty of other stories out there. But I think you rip yourself off if you don't try to at least give something of it a chance. And if you're a Ninja Turtles fan, just have fun with it and enjoy it. I personally watched it. I thought it was kind of dumb, but it's kind of like, I can see why kids like this.
And it got better as it went on.
It did, and it's okay to like it. It's not like it's not like those hardcore people who are like. No, go ahead.
I think the problem was when they claimed it was a prequel series, and then especially at the end when they reveal Casey Jones as a girl in this is what really got people like, then how is this a prequel? How is this a prequel?
How's it going to be a prequel? It's impossible to be a prequel. You know,
I think they swerved away from that as it went on. I think initially it was, and here's one thing I believe. Actually, you want to know? I've came up with my own handling of the Turtles. But you know what? One character I would bring in, it would take me. I would have to beg and play. Well, no, I think I convinced Nickelodeon a lot better than I could Peter Laird. But you know what? One character I would bring back, but I would handle with respect is Venus. Because I like Venus. I thought Venus had so much potential.
She was good in the 2012 series.
She was not in the 2012 series. She hasn't been in anything since Mutation.
Oh, wait, that's right. They changed her to a gecko.
Yeah, no, you're thinking about Mona Lisa, aren't you? Isn't that Mona Lisa?
Yeah, I am talking about Mona Lisa.
see, here's something that Nickelodeon or IDW could actually do, since the Turtles do have a multiverse. And I would be one of those people to say, hey, look, guys, it's part of the multiverse. Don't have a fucking fit over it. They could actually reintroduce the Turtles storyline with most everything the same, and instead of 4 Turtles, have 5.
Yeah.
And Venus could be one of the, and you could totally avoid the next mutation stuff.
Yeah.
You could take bits and pieces from everything, and I personally would keep it a little more towards the Mirage style of the 80s.
Yeah,
where you
but
have
here's what
Venus as a sister, and Splinter's still teaching him everything, and she would she could be a Kunomitsu basically.
Yep. Well, here's what I would have done. First of all, I would actually set up right away the Turtles' age. Raph is the oldest, Leo is the second oldest, Venus is the middle, Donnie is the second youngest, and Mikey is the youngest.
Yep. Yeah.
But I would keep Venus missing until a couple seasons ahead. First 2 seasons deal with the Shredder, and by the end of it, Shredder is dead. He is blown up by, and everything. Karai takes up the helmet to become the new Shredder. Right. And then after that, but we at the near the end, we start setting the seeds up for Krang. And then Krang is the next villain, but then during which when he's defeated, he clones a new Shredder to use under his sway. And then we bring in the dragons that brings in Venus.
I really wouldn't go there. Me personally, in the comic book format, it would be it'd be like at least by issue 25, she comes in. And
well, that's if it was a comic version, yeah.
Well, no, you're talking cartoon. I'm talking comic version. I mean, I like your ideas for the cartoons. It's more fluid, but I was figure out by issue 25 she would be rediscovered. And the biggest thing that we have to ditch, and I've hated this since ever reincarnation, it's always Raphael fighting Leonardo with some attitude problem about ditch that crap.
Oh, I would. That's one thing I loved about the 2012 series is, why am I the leader? Because you asked.
No, it's the if you look at
but
look at the 2007 movie, this is where it started, where Raphael always wants to do his own thing. He's always angry, blah blah blah. He gets in the conflict, and Donnie and Mike are picking sides. Both ditch that right off the bat because they're supposed to be brothers. brothers and sisters always have conflict, but there's never this. I'm gonna overthrow you. I'm better than you. Blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, I would never do that with my Raph. My Raph would not. My Raph,
and it was never there in the original Mirage series. Not even when you got to City at War did it have this.
Oh, can I tell you one thing?
I'm angry and blah blah blah.
One thing I love that IDW did is they wrapped up the Image run. I love that they actually wrapped that up.
I haven't gotten that far ahead.
It's called it's the Teenage Ninja Turtles. Hold on, Urban.
Ingrid?
Ingrid, are you still there?
I'm still here.
We're talking, but it's called Urban Legends, where they reprinted all the Image run, and then they actually brought the creators in to wrap it up with 2 issues.
Yeah. I would just say let's ditch the Leonardo versus Raphael, anger issue leadership subplot. And another thing that I would do is go back to everyone wearing red bandanas.
I think it's hard to get away from that.
That's just me. And again, it would be what was it? There was a series that handled that excellently, and I can't remember what that is. And I think it was IDW, where they all started out with red bandanas.
Oh yeah.
And they looked at each other like, "What are we doing here?" And they just all chose their own colors. I like that. Yep. I would start out wearing the red bandanas, and then I figured by issue 25, when they find Venus, she would say, "Let's bring some," because girls, ladies, you love to do this. Guys are very black and white in regards to style. The ladies love to bring the color. So I would, and having raised 4 daughters, I would have Venus come back and say, "Hey, let's get some color in here," and they all be like, "All right, whatever." And then pick
That
their
would
own colors
work.
and go to the traditional, blue, orange, red, and purple.
Black.
And for
Yeah.
Venus, I would not. I don't know if I do. I would do yellow, to be honest.
That's what. Except
Yellow.
that's what. Except that would connect to Janika.
Well, they can get over that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think
What if?
Janika's. Sorry. I was going to say. I think
what
Janika's an
if-
interesting character. Yep.
Oh, she's great. But what if Venus actually was Janika and there was a memory loss?
Perhaps I'd rather keep it, but she was in the Turtle Ball. I want to keep that where she was in the Turtle
Right.
Ball.
Agree, fair enough. Agree to disagree.
Yep.
But
Can I tell you one thing?
Give
I'm
her
sorry.
gold. So go ahead. No, go ahead. As I say,
I was
give her
saying-
gold.
Right.
Give her a
But one
gold
thing
staff.
I loved about the Batman TMNT, the third miniseries, was the merged histories version of Batman's origin, where in this version, Joe Chill had abducts, takes a car and the truck that had the ooze. You had Thomas and Martha Bruce, after seeing Zorro, goes to a street vendor and gets the bowl of turtles.
That
But
was
when they're
good.
when they're walking down the alley, they get run over by the truck.
Ooh. Well, yeah. I
Yeah,
guess
and
getting
look at
shot
that.
can only do so many things.
Look at that. This is more grisly than them getting shot.
I don't know. Is it?
Their bodies mangled and twisted.
You would have to be driving pretty hard to do that much damage.
I've
seen people get hit in real life and they don't look that bad.
Yeah, but well, obviously here they did look that bad. But just the idea, although I gotta say though, then how many other alternate universe histories that never got the reset button does Bruce have in his noggin?
What?
How many alternate universes, histories that he's went through his whole life through, and at the end they're told you will have the memories still. You can still hold on to the good memories you had. How many of those are in his head, including this one now where he had Turtle Brothers? Fair question, wouldn't you say? How many is in his head that he's able to juggle around?
I didn't know he had turtle brothers. I knew he had pet turtles.
No, yeah. When they mutated, then they became like brothers to him. They were treated like brothers, and they were raised by Splinter.
Oh, okay. I just misunderstood what you were saying, as in reference to the turtles being brothers, not Bruce's.
Yeah,
not the turtles
Bruce
being Bruce's brothers.
Yeah, in this timeline, in this merged world, yeah, they were raised like brothers.
Well, yeah, they're supposed to be. They're all brothers.
But you get what I'm saying, right? How many? But once everything's all settled, unless it's erased all those other memories in his head, he has a couple from other prior stories, good memories of good lives with his parents up in his head. In conjunction to that, probably gonna get confusing eventually, where he can't differentiate the two.
I've always maintained that if DC ever had any intelligence whatsoever, that if they wanted to do new stories, they should do what they did a story called To Kill a Legend, where once every 20 years the Batman's cycle gets reset to where his parents die and all this other stuff.
Oh yeah, that was the Neil Gaiman.
No, it wasn't Neil Gaiman. I don't know if he. It's a story.
Yeah.
I believe the story is from like issue 500 here.
So Neil Gaiman kind of came up with a similar story. I don't think he ripped it off for whatever happened to the Cape Crusader.
Well, Detective Comics Volume Number 1, issue 500 is Batman To Kill a Legend. It's basically where the Phantom Stranger allows Batman to go to an Earth because the cycle of every 20 years, the cycle of Batman's life happens. And in that reality, Batman and Robin, and it was Dick Grayson, it wasn't Jason Todd, they go to this alternate Earth. They stop Lou Moxon from hiring Joe Chill to kill Bruce's parents, and then Bruce, seeing Batman in all his glory, still becomes Batman without losing his parents.
Oh, I remember that one.
It was by Jim Aparo and Dick Goriando.
Yep.
And Joe Kubert. And now, if DC had any intelligence, like if I was running DC, if they were going to pull this stuff, like once every 20 years, we can reset the, in real time, you can reset the universe instead of having the Flash do everything. And in that time, there can be a set story where Bruce was the owner of the Turtles. His parents did get ran over instead of, the bullet.
Yep.
You can avoid that if you wanted to. And then he could rediscover them. Kind of like, what they did with the Megan Fox Ninja Turtles movies. Like, oh, yeah, these used to be my pets. That wasn't too bad.
That wasn't that bad.
They butchered the handling of that in the movie, but it's like, oh, that's a good idea. There's actually a familiar connection. But the Turtles would be brothers, but I wouldn't have Bruce treat them like brothers. Like, yeah, I remember you guys used to be my pets. It's great to see you growing up, and you're my fellow crime fighters. Mm-hmm. That's how I would handle it if that would be a possibility, because there's nothing to say with a DC multiverse and a Turtle multiverse that couldn't happen. But again, you'd have to literally every 20 years in real life reset the DCU and not have a flashpoint every 5 years because your sales are tanking. But that's
right. But yeah, hey, sorry to wrap this up, but I'm starting to get exhausted. I thank you all for joining, and thank you all for coming on.
It's been great to stop by.
Mm-hmm. I really appreciate it, all of you, and hope to have another stream. Yeah, it's going on almost 3 hours now. Yeah, I am just dead tired.
Well, you sound like you're about ready for a good old nap.
I am. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all for celebrating with me. And I wish you all here's to a better year. Take care, everyone.